Yay! Welcome back to Film Club. We're gonna love this one because we've got Twilight. I hate it pick. This was from now it's funny because Jay, you missed. You thought the pick happened, but I needed a moment. I couldn't work it out. My brain after the last one just went into like, oh, I can't think of a bad movie. I just couldn't think of a bad movie. Walked straight in, spoke to my girlfriend, and she just went, it's obvious, it's Twilight. And my brain just went, oh yes, that's it. And I literally went into like pure, oh, you're completely right. And then just literally like, Sandy, it's Twilight. No, literally like, there's a book.
There's a book.
Well, there's multiple.
I did read.
At least I didn't say the Twilight Saga.
Thank you.
Pretty quick. Yeah. Been really polite.
Twilight Saga back to back with Lord of the Rings would have been a good one.
Yeah, I quit Film Club for at least 3 weeks.
My dog ate my homework.
I do apologize. How are you two after? Well, Sandy's had it probably worse because you've had the book, but how are you two?
I've survived the book because I could go right back, literally within minutes, to the Lord of the Rings, and it was a great reset for my brain. And we'll talk about this dreadful book, but I have survived, and I'm looking forward to moving forward from this day forward. Jay, how about you?
I am well, having a fantastic weekend celebrating the greatest holiday of all time. I just want that to be said and known.
Woohoo!
But great 4th of July weekend, topped off with having one hell of a laugh watching this movie with my wife last night. So I honestly, for reasons that will be made clear during this stream, as bad of a movie this is, I had a great time watching it, and totally unintended on the movie's fault, but we had a great time watching this last night.
Oh, good. Now, it happened last. I'm going to introduce the chat quickly. Chat, there's top fans. As Abel's there. Abel's number 1 at the moment. Over how many points, Sandy? It was over 1,000. So we have this new top fans. If anybody doesn't see this, we have a goal. Abel's on 1,125 because they've been chatting in this for how many days, Sandy? 4 days.
Abel says 3 days. I think it was 4 days. I think it was immediately when you posted the notify me. We knew that these points were here. Yes, Jade, you have some catching up to do. So just chat away. And we got really competitive last night on your live stream last night. Yeah. So we were practicing. So the chat's ready to go.
So so at the moment, pole position, Abel, Sandy's in 2nd, and Viper's in 3. Right behind Laganham, Abe, Daryl, and Davey Verse in 6th. So I'm guessing they give you more, but yeah, that's it at the moment. So get them XP points up because it is a bit of fun. It's a little bit of a YouTube fun. So that's all good. But everybody, I hope you did your homework because this is going to be fun. Like that. Yeah, Twilight. What's this? 2008?
2008.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah. Now when I had to put this on. Now, sorry, Jade's in chat. I'm gonna have to blame her because this movie would have never been seen because of not her, but really her ex-flatmate. And that is it, because we started dating at the kind of when it was all finishing. What is the last one called? The Breaking Dawn or something?
Breaking Dawn.
Breaking Dawn. Part 2. Didn't they do that in a part 1, part 2?
Yeah, part 1. Yeah. So I was nice, boyfriend. Do you want to go to the cinema and see it? Are you seen them all? Oh yeah, okay. Then I really want to find out how it goes, but you're not going to like it. And I watched it. And I just was like, this is absolutely shockingly bad. What is this movie? You know, and then I was like, maybe I'm out of content. Literally, so I go back and watch them. Oh, wish I didn't say that.
Well, technically, you got the rest of the context. It's all bad.
Yeah, it's all bad. Yeah, straight away, it's just bad. Yeah, it's let's say it's a bit of a mess. It's but if you have to say 2 positives over this movie, let's get over all the things. Her dad, and I can't remember the name because
is it Charlie?
Yes.
No, it's not Charlie, is it? No.
Charlie is her dad, and the actor is I wrote him down because he was a bright spot in this film.
Yeah,
Billy Burke.
I'm so glad you just pointed him out, because as soon as we started watching it and he comes on the screen, I looked to my wife and I go, I totally forgot how much I like the dad in this movie.
But that's it. He's the own redeeming quality. Now, is he good? He's an HBO on TV actor still. But at least he's actually,
he looks,
you know what?
He looks amazing compared to the other actors in this movie.
It. At least he's actually giving a crap about what he's doing on screen. Right. And awesome mustache. That is it.
Yeah. I can pull off a mustache.
What a mustache. He's got that built in, that thing. That is a proper soup catcher. But the only other one is you have to rely on how great the publishers for the marketing was on this. Because 100%. This is
it was a phenomenon.
It's a teeny movie.
Right.
It's a teen MTV, should have been straight to VHS or DVD at the time, whatever.
But you know what else? It was teens and middle-aged women, because my mom was huge into this. So it was like the under 20s and the over 60s love this film. My mom loved
there's going to be a lot. A lot of shaking my head. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, my mom.
You and Kristen Stewart, because that's all she does in this movie is shake her head. It drives me nuts.
Oh, and tilt her head and bite her lip.
And her face is always moved. Like there's always stuff going on with her face. Her eyes looking this way, that way, up, down. Like,
and her accent hasn't changed.
Doesn't stop like moving her face or her head. It drives me nuts. So, but regardless, I'm already going into why this movie killed me. What I was going to say is, so I actually grew up, I was a sophomore in high school at this point in time. So I was smack dab in the middle of every girl in high school being obsessed with Edward Cullen and all this stuff. And every, guy in high school being like, well, you guys want to take the girls to the movies Tuesday to go see on $2 Tuesday to go see the new Twilight and all that. So we all got stuck watching these. And so like for that reason, it has such a nostalgic place for me. Like it's just one of those moment in time type of things when this stupid thing took the next thing was probably like, what was that? 50 Shades of Grey, the next like like slightly more adult version. That was the next like big book to go movie that I witnessed in that era. That was just kind of like, again, all the women, from different ages loved it and all that. And all the men were like, kind of collectively like, all right, guys, I guess we're all stuck watching this crap until these series of movies are done. So I got through most of this in high school. I think the only one I didn't see was the very last one. I think the girlfriend I had at the time, me and her broke up, and one of the silver linings was I never had to watch another Twilight again. So I spared myself of one final movie in this series, but I did make it through the first three.
Yeah, but there's no. I think you said in the last one, the rest are bad. I don't know where you could categorize the worst movie.
They got worse for me. It was the last one. So I think the second one is the Moon one, and then the third one was the first of Breaking Dawn. That to me was when, like, beyond just no longer being with the girlfriend I was with at the time who wanted to watch them, was when I was actually like, I think at the time I was kind of like, yeah, these movies are fine, whatever. Like I didn't hate them, but I wasn't like overly critical of them. It was like 17 years old, like didn't really care. Then I hit the third one, and I remember being like, dude, this is awful. Like, I can't sit through this movie. This is truly awful.
Chick, I don't like you enough to go through this.
Yeah, like that was like, maybe we need to reconsider this relationship if you like this stuff. No, it was just that moment of like, all right, I'm definitely like, I don't care how this story ends. And I usually like to try to kind of finish a story, see how it ends, even if it's not the greatest.
Oh, yeah, I would have checked out.
I think it was like the Hunger Games when they split up in their last one into a part 1 and 2. That's when I was like, all right, both of you guys have totally lost me. I'm not interested in these.
And and it's weird because they started getting like Michael Sheen's in it, and you're like, he's a good actor. Like later on, you're like, and I'm like,
I can't even think of him in those movies. They're such a blur to me.
He's the like head vampire of the
like the super fancy posh one. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And you're like, oh, like terrible because like we say like that. Not even that. Like,
I mean, they were probably making money like crazy.
We're going to talk about how much money this film made. I have lots of data on that. When we get there, we're going to talk about a lot of ways to slice and dice how this made gobs of money. Just
it's just like, oh my God.
Oh, Jade, his kids wanted him to do it. What is wrong with those children?
Yeah, because they were like, I want a new car.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. Oh my.
And I'm sure if his kids were like teenage girls at the time, I'm sure they would have been like, "Oh my god, my dad's in the Twilight movies." Like, that's a cool, that's a cool thing.
Fun fact.
So I would understand that.
Yeah, it's not like you go like.
Is that true, Abe? Because it's funny because my wife, because I've never watched 50 Shades of Grey, but my wife was saying later on, she's like, while we were watching it, she's like, the 50 Shades of Grey movie, because we were just like, oh my god, this is so lame, I can't believe this became a big thing. And she was like, yeah, that's similar to 50 Shades of Grey. She's like, it feels very much like it in the storytelling. And I'm like, really? I'm like, is that, I even asked, I'm like, is that vampires too? And she's like, no, it's not vampires, but she's like, just the way the guy acts and Edward Cullen. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it. So that's an interesting thing to point out, Dave.
Yeah, it's two terrible books. And things
oh
like
god,
that.
yeah, you
and
Jade,
I'm gonna out you here. You read them both, so that's it. And it was quite funny. And I'm gonna say this, and she's gonna hate me because it was funny. She was reading 50 Shades of Grey, and she was like getting really confused. I was like, laughing, and then she was like, "I don't get this word. I don't know what it is." And then I was like, I was like, "Well, what is it?" And I was like, "Never heard of it. Can you read it in the content?" And there was some very sexual moment going on. And then I was like, let's look it up. And it was the third sphincter up the anus. And I was like, it was the actual medical term for it. And I was like, oh my God, whoever wrote this just did a Joey. Like that episode of Joey when he uses the thesaurus to like do the adoption thing for Chandler and come on, help me, friends. Monica. And then he just goes like that. And I was like, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's literally somebody just went fingers. And like, this is, at least now people are like, can actually put their stupidity through Chat GPT or something like that and actually work it out.
Maybe AI can help you.
Oh, man, I like, that's not how people talk. Like that. And what is that? And that is the problem, I think, like straight off the bat with this movie, and we'll break it down.
Oh, it's so cringe. There's just so much in there. It's like,
I know,
wow.
I was like that, but we get on to
laugh.
like that's it. We get into like the opening scene. Now, like if you're gonna do this, and like I always think this, like it spoke like I don't like how they portray vampires in this, but we'll talk about that later. But if you're gonna do like this about this death of Bambi, let's call it, literally go in a bit darker, make it like all these, they're a predator, the predator, they're not, because it's just her doing this again. They like the problem even with the start, they start off with a boring voice. Like
and
about like how I don't know how I wanted to die or something like that, and it's just
it's just really over dramatic. Like it sounds like a teenager in love of like I don't know how I wanted to die, but dying for somebody else would be amazing. And it's just like, oh my god, buckle up, here we go. It's like over the top.
Like somebody
like a diary, some diary of nonsense.
Welcome to the book, gentlemen. Welcome to the book.
Well, and so one thing to point out about that opening scene, immediately I was kind of like, oh, I forgot that I liked the color palette of this movie, and I liked some of the scenery shots in it. So there was some, to give it one thing that I think it does.
The overlay. That's what she's like, you know what, if I had to do one thing, it's the blue tone.
Exactly. Like that color palette, it matches the idea of like Washington, the rainy, like I thought the color palette actually looked really nice. I liked some of the shots they did. I didn't like the tilted camera angles they play around with all the time, because that's just something that annoys me in all movies.
Yeah.
And like in this scene is a good thing you pointed out, Stasis. Like they could have done it darker, but it didn't necessarily have to be like gruesome either. Like they do this thing, I believe, where this deer scurries off, and then it's this really cheesy looking sped up running of a human. It's like sped up to make it look like he's going super speed to catch this deer, and it looks really cheesy and it looks really dated. They could have just done something like a simple zoom in shot here, like continue to zoom in on it drinking. Then all of a sudden something grabs it. Both things go off screen. You kind of hear it squeal, and the focus is still just on this nice little water shot that like they could have done it so much better. And they defaulted to cheesy CGI so many times in this movie.
I don't know if it was like that. It's because if you look at it, this like how it's like the cinematography in this movie I think is shocking. But it feels like they thought this was going to go straight to DVD, because I think
some of that stuff,
I think they did. I think whoever's like the film crew were the production, like the things, they got the rights for the book. They were like, well, the book's made money, but like with the heavy influence of like the author to do like playing like, no, you can't change that, has to be exactly what it is, and it didn't, like, you know, there's certain shots she wanted and like thing, and dialogue had to be bang on. I think they just lost faith. I think they were like, that's not how movies are made. So I think they went, let's go a little bit cheap and like not
well, they
too much.
definitely went cheap,
because I think they put them like because there's no known stars, so they're not paying out money. The sets, there's none. It's just a neighborhood anywhere really in America. It could be really. It's just they've just dialed it down to be a bit cheap in bits. And then just with this, and then just gone, well, if it works, it's worked. But like if it blows, we haven't spent tons and tons on everything. Because even like when they do like a little bit of practical and a little bit of special effects, they're a bit poor for 2008.
That's the
like
thing,
the
is
car
like
crash and
the baseball scene, like when he's climbing the trees with her on his back. The first scene, I legitimately burst out laughing when he's the first, like they go for a walk and he runs up the mountain like with her in her back. The look of him, it's insane. It's insane. It looks so bad, and I'm like, so you went cheap in things like this opening scene when they do like the blurred, sped up running of the bad vampire chasing. Oh no, it's actually, I guess it's one of the Cullens chasing the deer because they're vegetarians. We'll get into it. But it does that blurred, sped up running for him, which, all right, doesn't look great, but we're like, maybe it'll get better. Maybe they spent more money elsewhere. Doesn't look like it because it looks so bad throughout the whole movie. I was kind of shocked to see how poorly that aged, because it aged so poorly now that I look back and I'm like, we must have made fun of this in real time, and I just don't remember it because it looks
and when
awful.
When he's jumping tree to tree,
yep, all of that, it looks so bad. It's like you can tell he's on like a wire system and he's just kind of moving his hands and feet along whatever it's the fake tree that they make or whatever the hell it is. It just looks so bad. It looks awful.
But we're jumping ahead.
We're not even past the deer.
Jumping ahead.
Now this is Arizona. Literally make it yellow. Like they make it thing. So this is Arizona. Now they do make a point in this movie is I don't tan, but if I lived in Arizona, I think I would get a little.
You burn. Something would happen. Like, you might not tan.
I don't know, but she's into her gardening, as we see here.
Right.
And then they make a statement: aren't you supposed to be tan from Arizona? But at least come up with an excuse. Not her only excuse later in the movie is that's why they kicked me out. That is your thing of why you are powerless as anything.
Because you're a victim, and because you're weak, and because you're helpless, and because you're so melancholy and depressed, and wah.
Now I'm gonna say this, and now you'll see it now. Okay, this movie, and I couldn't. Every time I took a screenshot, they look like they're smelling a fart.
Yes!
Now I mean that.
I said it
I
to
literally.
I said it to my wife. I go, it looks like every scene they both just are smelling something wicked bad.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Who did that?
The facial acting in this movie is crazy.
It's like the actor, the director went, okay, you're not giving me very much, like you're curious about the thing. Just look at him like they've just did a silent fart, and that is it throughout the movie. And every time I did a screenshot, it gets worse. And then like I explained like the when we get to it, when he's like holding his like, oh, I can smell, because she smells her blood smells sweeter. That's why he gets a bit like, he's like, I'm not disgusted by it. I'm just like sweet. And I was like, this whole movie is about like smells. It's like, but yeah. So
it's a catalyst for the villains later on.
With respect to the book, so it's written from her perspective. So it's her narrative the entire time, which is dreadful.
Bella. But was it Bella Swan, isn't it?
Bella Swan, yeah.
After every statement, every sentence, they describe their facial expressions.
Oh my
I'm
God,
not kidding.
Oh.
I wrote it down.
That's interesting.
Somebody said something to someone. He frowned. He bit his lip. He, twitched his eye. He looked sideways. Oh my goodness. The description of the facial expressions. I can't say it was the worst, because everything about this book was the worst. I've never in my life, Stephanie Meyer, if you're out there, Meyer. I don't know like what star she hitched herself to, because galaxy type star. How this mess of a book was turned into a franchise that made multiple billions of dollars, I just don't know. I wouldn't have turned this in a third grade essay contest. This was horrendous writing. It was painful. It was poor writing, just poor. I'll just say it now. I was going to save it, but you know, to set up where we are, her victimhood begins on the first few pages. Her being sarcastic and snarky and mean to people. Yet she's the wilting flower who's super clumsy. I fall down all the time. I was so tired of hearing her falling down all the time. Her weakness is she's clumsy. Like, it made no sense. There was no grounding in this clumsiness. Oh, I can't dance, remember? I can't play sports, remember? You think the scene with her playing badminton and basketball and volleyball were horrible in the film? It was worse in the book. I can't pick up a racket. I'll kill someone. And she does. She like hits someone in the head and hurts them. But the description from her own narrative of so-and-so's face and so-and-so's this, I did it. I got through it. I got through it on 1.5 speed at one point because I just couldn't take it anymore. But from this first instance of her having to leave Phoenix, Arizona, and lamenting missing the sunshine, but going on and on and on and on about how she's not a sunshine person. What's your problem?
Right.
Just stop whining. Stop whining. Okay, I'll leave the book alone for a minute. Well, but it was that from the first minute. Whine, wah.
That's why her mum probably went, go and live with your dad.
Yeah, like we're hitting the road, dude. Go somewhere else.
Yeah,
well, it's funny you mentioned that about the face description in the book, because immediately within like 2-3 scenes, I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, have you noticed how much her face does not stop moving in this movie, in her head? Like, well, she's acting. The others do it as well, but I thought Kristen Stewart was the worst kind of, the worst one with this, where it's always just like these little tiny little head shakes and rapid blinking and eyes looking everywhere and like mouth adjustments and lip. Like, there's such a crazy amount of over facial emoting with her in this movie, and even like to the point where shaking her head and using like the whole head for it, that it was like distracting. Anytime she's talking, it's all I could look at. Like, at one point, we had a good laugh towards the end of the movie. I'm like, because my wife wasn't quite catching it, but she was starting to. So at the end, I'm like, all right, watch her talk right now. So she starts going. I'm like, all right, here's the head shake. As soon as I said it, boom, she does a little head shake. I'm like, all right, now here comes the eye. She's going to look everywhere. Right on cue, looks everywhere. And I'm like, all right, all we need is the blinking. And she went like another 10 seconds before doing it. I'm sitting there like I just bet on the horse race for the Kentucky Derby. I'm like, come on. All of a sudden, she does the rapid blinking. We lost it. We both started dying laughing like this. It's insane. It was her go-to combo for facial expression throughout the movie, was just head shake, eyes look everywhere, eyes blink, and then that was supposed to convey emotion. And it just drove me nuts. But it sounds like it might have been direction now based off what was in the book. So I kind of want to take a little bit of my criticism of her acting in this and take it back and say that sounds like it was probably direction.
Yeah, but you say that, but have you ever watched another movie with
nothing
her?
With her. Nothing with her outside of these.
Yeah, they're actually terrible. Yeah. I think I watched the Snow White and the Huntsman movie. And I know
that's right. She was with Hemsworth, right?
Yeah. Me and Jade know something about that movie, and I'll tell you off screen. Good gossip. But yeah, like she's just terrible. Like everything she's in, like you're like, you cannot act. But like this was a pivotal, like because it did so.
Made her a household name right off the bat.
It made her and Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, Pattinson too. Boom. And credit to Pattinson. I think he's come a long way in his acting. We'll pick on his acting in this too, but credit to him. I think he's come a very long way in his acting.
At least he tries, but like he's still not. I don't think he's still hit the high notes of like whatever it is. Oh, he's actually a good actor. Well, then show me, because you're not really giving me a good movie.
Some people will point to that movie Good Time with him and be like, oh my God, he was fantastic in this. But I watched it and I thought he was good in it and solid. It just wasn't enough for me to be like, I don't. It's kind of like
give me
you
a
like
good movie with it,
right.
yeah.
Like what is this hype to say he's this good since Twilight? I
Mhm.
definitely think he's gotten
Exactly.
better, and I thought he was good in that movie. I just don't think he's, like you said, done anything that's really been like, backs up the hype.
No. So she leaves Arizona, kicked out by her mum and stepdad, I'm guessing. And then
She went from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma. She might have gone to Philadelphia, Atlanta, and LA. We don't know.
Good one. Also, the distance between Phoenix and Forks, Forks, Washington,
which is close to Tacoma, by the way.
Right. The distance in which they travel between there in this movie is insane. It's like the writers don't know how big they go. It seemingly within a couple hours they go from Washington to Phoenix.
That is how big America is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's apparently that's what the writers think, because
I'm guessing they didn't. Yeah, I'm guessing they didn't drive all the way there.
Well, in one part at the end they drive because she's with the two vampires.
Yeah.
Who drive
on the way.
At one point, the tracking vampire kind of, as they're like, I think it was while they were on their way to Phoenix, or maybe they already landed in Phoenix. He figures out what's going on and turns direction, and like 20 minutes later, he's in Phoenix. The whole thing
after
was
having gone the wrong way for
for however long the misleading was. I'm like, did the writers know how far? Like, who wrote this? You don't have a general idea of how big the US is.
They didn't care.
I think somebody picked, like, with the probably the author is probably, is it in the book, the place names, Sandy?
It's the book is it's set in Forks, Washington, but it wasn't filmed in Forks, Washington. There is a real Forks, Washington. They filmed it in Oregon.
Okay.
Strangely.
No, I just wondered if she just picked places and went, that sounds good to the books. That just sounds good.
She had lived there or been inspired by Forks. She had been to Forks.
She got fork off to me then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we get the only actor in this movie now, Charlie. I say whatever his the actor's name is. Good mustache.
Billy Burke.
Yeah, and he is the head of the police department there, isn't he? Of the whatever.
I think he's the sheriff. Is he the sheriff?
No, they call him the head of the police. They don't call him a sheriff. Why?
Yeah,
police chief. And I was like, wouldn't he be a sheriff? I thought, because it's a small town, but I guess in County to County, maybe different. Where it is, then we get Moaning Myrtle.
Literally, name for her.
Literally, when she doesn't talk and she does this sitting face, it's just
look
like,
at that face.
Are you chewing a lemon? Literally, just got a lemon. Don't want to talk. It's like, and it's just like, oh, okay, you're supposed to be a grumpy teenager, get it? But then she's 17. Okay, so you're like, you should be looking forward to like applying to college, doing that. You've moved now to Washington. Like this should be an adventure to you. You didn't like it in Arizona. This is now an adventure. It's just, again, it's just a thing of her high school. Like going into like, it's just okay, because apparently you're a bit of a loner, so you haven't got new friends, but she easily makes friends in her new one, because it would have made sense. Her, like, when she left Arizona, her friends are saying goodbye to her and she's pissed off her, like, I'm leaving my friends as well, like being a bit pissed off that I'm being made to like do this and it's against, I'm still a minor, so I've got to abide to my parents, and my friends are saying goodbye to me. But you don't get that. You just get that she's just not a likable character.
Nope.
So you just get straight on of like, oh, what is going on? So yeah, she gets then her new home where her dad, fearing like nice like that, he's the nicest written person. He does out her room. It's purple. I got somebody else to pick it out, and she's like, yeah, that's fine. She's a bit things, bit pissed off that she's there, and then. Of course, whilst we get introduced to the, I don't even know what's their clan name they call themselves. I forgot.
Quiliots.
Yeah. So, introduced to that, but she knows because she's been in that place, but she hasn't seen her dad for years, so that's why she's kind of out of touch with the thing. So she kind of knows him, and then of course we get like, I'm going to go a little far faster. We get to the high school. So she gets to the high school, in like automatically near enough makes friends. Like
she's new to them, right? So she's the oddity. She's the you know the you know she's interesting to them. But and some of the boys like her, and some of the boys, you know, already like her because she's new and interesting. Although, okay, I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to crack on anyone's looks, especially if they're supposed to be teenagers. But with that look on her face, why would anyone be attracted to that attitude? It's not about looks. It's about, geez, Louise, she's just miserable all the time.
And but again, like but even with that, okay, like if you were directing this, like you wrote, like I'm guessing the author was like, you must keep these two characters. These are the pivotal, you know, like Edward and Bella. I get that, but why essentially you have the most annoying backcast as well. Everybody, like her inner circle of friends, like her actual like human friends, or what you guess. Really, they're just annoying. They're just like give them some characters, like actual give it like written like things. All they've done is given like, you know, oh, we need a female, I'm out, a female, I'm out, working off each other, but they don't have actually there's no comedic value there. There's no like bitterness, there's no bitchiness, you know, like give us something. It's just like I'm just reading a script and I'm going home after this.
Nobody in the movie, and between, you know, her group of friends or anybody, nobody just feels like real people. They just feel like you're either a main kind of portion of the movie and you're just hollowly going through lines, or you're kind of you know, these side characters who kind of play more like NPCs in a video game. Like they're just kind of there to be there, and because I'm, you know, NPC student 1 and I have to be the jock friend, and this one has to be the other friend, and this one's the busybody girl, and all that. It's like they're just background. They're fill-ins. They're decorative fruit, so to speak, on a kitchen table. They're not really doing much there. They're just there to be seen.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it is terrible. But yeah, so we get that. Now we get.
Oh, but go back if you wouldn't mind. You know, these just aren't any. You know,
we'll be fine
friends
down
of
there.
The family. These are the Blacks. So that's Jacob Black, who knew Bella growing up when Bella would come here in the summers and spend time, because Charlie and this gentleman are good friends. I think his name's Billy in the film. So Charlie and Billy are good friends. So Jacob's in the book, he's 2 years younger than her. I think here he's like a year younger than her. And they're coming to bring her truck, which it's not they don't make a big deal about it in the film, but in the book it's surprising, I think, to her dad that Bella likes the truck. I think he bought it for her because it was a good sturdy truck, but he knows it's not, you know, it's not flashy, it's not new, and she likes it. So he's surprised. And in the book, that surprised me. It was like, she's such a detestable person that her own dad spends his money to find her the best thing that he can to give to her, and he's worried that she's not going to like it. Yeah, that's how awful she is. That is how awful she is.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to like. Yeah, it's that this like even the interaction is just a bit weird. Like with the like, I don't get where like I get it, and but it looks a bit stupid when they have to. Okay, I'm gonna like to focus on what's the guy on the right's name there?
Jacob.
His name Jacob, and her need to have the forefront. So what they need to do is get, of course, the other two characters out of the shot. Let's pretend to dance, and let it be a funny levity because he's in a wheelchair, and then that's how they're doing it. But they need to do that to get them forefront and backdrop, and it's just terrible. That's the same. It's just like the director couldn't work out just didn't care how to do it. It was just like, you know what, just do this, and then I've got them at the forefront and you're at the backdrop, you're still in the scene, don't worry about it. But that's it. It's just like, what do you want to do? Just do a silly little dance. I was just like, okay, that's it, move on. But yeah, it's
now this was not in the book. This is not how Bella and Jacob meet in the book. Bella and Jacob meet later in the film when they're at that beach, the rainy beach, and they're talking. That's actually the first time they meet. In the book, the truck just appears, one day, and the dad explains where it came from. But we haven't met Jacob and Billy yet in the book.
Okay. But yeah,
I will say I did like Jacob's dad. Just in general. I mean, didn't have a huge part, but I thought he was another one, like at least turning in a good performance. And he's seen. I can believe that him and Bella's dad are actually longtime friends. Like I can genuinely believe that within the two of them.
One of the main characters in Yellowstone.
Really?
That got
is he?
He's one of the like the chieftain or like of the settlement that's there, the reservation that's near.
No kidding.
So he's in that. He's got a good, and I've seen him other things. I never remember his name, but when he pops up, I'm like, that you've been in that and that. Like I was saying, base things. But But so in the high school, we get, of course, the meeting of the Collins, and they give a very pathetic reason why they're there, and they look slightly different. Is because they're adopted. That is like
this guy looks like he's 30, dude. There's no way this guy
we're going there. Like, okay, like I get
she doesn't look like 17. I mean, she looks like she's a at least 28-year-old woman herself too. So they had a hard time casting this guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I get this in Hollywood. They've always done that a 24-year-old is playing a 16-year-old. Something stupid.
And Tom Holland's played a teenage high school Peter Parker, and he's been like, I think, 20 plus since he even got the role.
Oh yeah.
You could definitely pull it off, and I understand why they do. It's easier to work with guys
like the Collins. They should not be at high school. They all
look like they're mid-20s at the youngest. They look like they're about to go to a night at the club. It's ridiculous. It's like that.
So they introduced they're all a bit weird. They've got a backstory. They're adopted. That's why for the doctor, forgot Dr. Collins, of course. That's it. And then, but who's that? They're going a bit of back and forth. And then we get the introduction of Robert Pattinson, who walks in. Again, he's like, who's left the smell? Let's say it. And then it's this bit opening scene is like he goes in. Of course, he hears they all got superhero and blah blah blah. We find out later they've got a little bit of powers, but they can hear him talking about them. And this literally her then going, he's a bit hot. I like him. Okay, I get that. Then she kind of just stares at him, and then this stare back.
It's so
it's
bad.
Just this. What is that about?
So awful. It's so awful. Admittedly, I haven't been a teenage girl for quite a while now, but this was not my thing. There's no, this was not. This was not my thing.
It looks like he's gonna like if you're like okay, taking the vampire bit outside because he's trying to be a normal human, be pretending to be. It looks like he's about to go and crack her over the head, with his a meat tray, food tray.
It's insane. But the stare between the both of them, they both look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who just openly stares at people like that, especially when they're looking right back at you. But you might look oh, that was an attractive person. You might look and try to be nonchalant. This is ridiculous.
But that's the thing is if you go, they're hot, give them a little stare, and then you look away because you don't want to be cool. They literally. We're having a stare out now.
It's
and
bizarre.
Then the director went,
so weird.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
Yeah. Now start to make it look like you smelled something. It's ridiculous.
It is pretend you have a little whiff. Have a little whiff. That's it. You can smell it. You can smell it. There we go. We've got it cut. And then after that, you got this smell off. That's what it is. A smell off. She goes into a was it the biology?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course. She's turned up and literally ripped one. It looks like because there is no give us a little bit of a sense of what is going. Why would you do this? Now, I'm guessing because in the book it explains it.
Yep, he wants to attack and kill her because she's attractive to him, and immediately he's not felt this attracted to someone before, and in vampire world, when you're that attracted to someone, you attack them and you kill them. And he's fighting that, and in his mind, all these things are going through. It's not just because, I shouldn't kill her because I like her, and how do I deal with that? it's actually the fact that his stepfather, Carlisle Cullen, has worked for years and years and years to build their family to be what they call vegetarians, vampires who don't attack humans, and they have to fight that at all costs. And if he did that, then of course everyone would know he's a vampire, but then also it would bring down all the advancements that Dr. Cullen has made to try to repress the urge to kill humans and drink their blood. And that's what he's fighting. He goes in later in the book, and I think in the film, I think he does explain it in the film too, that on that first day it was just me trying to, working as hard as I ever have had to repress my urge to kill. And that's what he was doing. However, that's not what it looked like. It looked like he was going to vomit. It looked like he was, in a sense, making fun of her. It looked like anything else. It was terrible acting in this scene. Just obviously terrible. And then in her brain, she's like, "Oh, I'm so repulsive to you. You act that like, okay, who would think that they're that repulsive to a person that someone would actually react by looking like they're going to be sick? So you're not even in your right head by thinking that."
Like if somebody goes, "Oh, like you smell," at least you go, "Do I got BO?" Because he keeps on that.
Yeah,
you would talk to one of your friends and be like, "No, what's he going on?"
Right. In fairness, in the moment, like kind of like you just said, like if somebody did react to me sitting next to them like that, I would be heavily concerned that I smelled terrible and didn't know it.
Yeah.
But I would immediately check it and be like, "Dude, do I stink to somebody else?" Be like, probably that guy then.
So but why is it only impacting this guy and not everyone else I've seen today?
That's
so it must be him. He's weird.
You could definitely logic it out, but that immediate reaction, I would be like, "Dude, is that me? What did I forget my deodorant today?"
Oh, it is. It's just like a shocking.
It's just so over the top too, because like that's not just like, "Oh man, somebody stinks." That's like, I'm gonna be violently ill because of whatever's in front. So it's just, and again, I guess that's what they're going for, but visually, and maybe it works better in the book. Probably not, because it sounds like the book's written like trash too. But it just looks so ridiculous in this context.
Basically, like all I do was like a shaking of the hand, and then him having to like now and again kind of do it, but like he was like a nervous tremor around her. Then there's something wrong. Not just going, "Oh my god."
Yeah, it didn't have to be this like I'm holding back vomit. That's just too much.
It's just like again, it's like I would be surprised. I'm guessing these guys forgot their lines quite a lot, especially Kirsten Stewart.
There weren't many words per line.
But I'm guessing like they would like, "Oh, just move on. Like nobody cares. Like, come on. Like we got that. Like once you nailed it, even if it wasn't great, they just went, "Yeah, that'll do."
I will say, as we're kind of going through it now, and I'm not just laughing at how bad the performances are, I do have to imagine these were two, I wouldn't say significantly unknown, but I mean, yeah, honestly, they were pretty unknown at this point.
They were
like,
quite
Kristen
unknown,
Stewart hadn't been in anything I can think of. I think Pattinson, as far as I know, had only been like Cedric Diggory in the Harry Potter movies to this point. So like pretty unknown actors. I'm sure a lot of what they did was just direction, doing what they were told, because they're not going to take the liberties of like, "No, I have these acting chops, I'm going to do it this way." So I do want to, I guess I haven't really criticized their acting in terms of my final review of the movie yet, but I am kind of in real time peeling back a little bit of my criticism on them, because this has to be direction. Like a director must have said, "Make it look like you want to throw up." And so he made it look like he wanted to throw up. I can't blame the kid for that. The
script, like, because she was like so adamant certain scenes had to be exact.
Right.
They were like, "Yeah, that's what it says. That's what you do.
Just do it." Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it. Why? Because your next line is terrible, because people don't talk like that. And that's the problem is when, like, especially with Bella, how she, like, the lines she delivers most of the time, people don't talk like that. And that's what makes you just go right off like this weird, like, "What are you talking about?" People don't have one-to-one conversations with people. There's no...
Even just her internal monologue at sometimes. It's like, dude, people don't even talk to themselves the way you're talking to yourself right now. Like, it's so theatrical and over-the-top nonsense.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that's what it comes out with. But I'm 100% the author for it's so romantic. She's speaking this romanticized, like vocal, like extravaganza, but everybody else are like, you just sound a bit stupid and over the top. That's it,
so
like
bad.
because you could dumb it down. Like everybody's had like a like those books, like you just like people don't talk like that in real life, but as you're reading it, you can make sense of it. But like it's just dumb. It's just some of it just sounds like you sound dumb. That's the problem. But yeah, so
if you sound dumb, but you're trying to sound super smart as a writer. And you're not, like, you don't get it.
And elegant, like that she wants it to have that elegant flow to the words all seamlessly going together. And it's like, dude, you should still be in writing 101.
And it brings me to I have a love-hate with Stephen King. I love the ideas he comes up with. His actual writing style is really good, but he can't stick the landing, as they say. Like every ending to a Stephen King movie is a letdown and book in a lot of respects, except for the big ones, like the ones that aren't horror, like, The Stand By Me or Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile, those ones. But anyway,
liked Misery. I thought Misery was good.
Misery, yes. Okay. Misery is actually my favorite book. But Stephen King wrote a book on writing that it's called On Writing. It's exceptional. And one of the things he goes into is it's really the basics. And one of his quotes is, "The road to hell is paved with adverbs." When you have to have so many ly words, you have no vocabulary. So here's an example. You could say she ran quickly, or you could say she darted. You could say she spoke softly, or you could say she whispered. It's better to use the noun or the verb that is elevated vocabulary rather than throwing a bunch of adverbs and adjectives in front of simple words because your brain is so simplistic. That quote came to my mind reading this book and listening to the dialogue in the film too. It's so dumbed down, but trying to be smart. And it just fails. And it's too many words. So for what you're seeing on screen in the film, you're seeing a lot of the gestures and facial movements and whatever. You have to read it in the book. And it's draining. It's repetitive. It's monotonous. It's inane. I'm using big words right now, by the way, because it's trying too hard. She is not a good writer. Somewhere in here is a story, but she's not a good writer. And then when it turned into the script for this film, it carried right over. That dreadful, dreadful dialogue carried right over. And the fact that everything is written from her internal narrative, this unlikable character, it does make it drudgery. It makes it total drudgery. The people who like this film and the book, I think, like the visuals, like the romance, like the ideas. But I guarantee if they just listened to the words, they'd be really ticked off. If you kind of put the romance away, if you put the visuals away, this could have been actually so much better because there is a thread of a story here. And that's what's incredibly frustrating. And I know I'm going way down the path with this book, but this was a good place because now she's sitting here. She's sitting here, right? She thinks she's a good writer, by the way. The character thinks she's smart. And she says over and over again, at least in the book and at least once or twice in the film, that she's already had these classes. So she was, this is a step down for her in terms of academics. This school is not as advanced as the school she left. So she's so much smarter. And her paper on Macbeth is this really high elevated concept of criticism of Macbeth. Shut up. You can't thread together a sentence. You're not as smart as you think you are. But this film just wants us to believe how cool and smart she is. And it's just drudgery. The whole thing is just total drudgery.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't get like this scene, like, and it's quite a short scene, like bigging her up, but like with her mum, and then it's just like there's no other real interactions except for in the hospital later. Like
she's so
the mum's,
snarky.
yeah, it's just and it's just gone. And it's just like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, that's it. So
her mom just cares about her, and she dismisses her. And mom doesn't even know how to text. And no, I'm not going to answer her emails. And
like, oh, you're gonna make fun of me because I forgot my phone or lost my whatever it was. Like the whole thing of her just she's got two very nice parents. She seems to be a little ungrateful of both of them.
Quite.
It's just moving on. But now we get like this scene is okay. It's like you don't see anything. You just see some workmen from, I'm guessing, a kind of like a underground quarry or some kind of, I don't know what it is, or like a dam or some.
I can't even think. What is this scene?
What is it? I was like, that's what I was like. Why is that? I don't know what it is or where it is. But yeah, so like you see some workmen, like there's some screams. And then we see a like you don't see the vampire, you just see like them on the gantry, don't you? Like there's there is, there are like blatantly, there's vampires, like that without saying they've done it. So that so there is the good vampires and the bad vampires now. Like that's how they kind of tone that down. And then of course Sandy's favorite moment comes down. Now it's winter time.
Fall down. Oh, big deal. What is wrong with you? Like, there's no reason for her to be, I'm so clumsy. Oh, I have balance issues.
I didn't realize that was a character trait, honestly, until you just pointed it out. I didn't realize that was something they were going for.
They never stop saying it in the book. I can't play this sport. I can't go to the... That is the reason she didn't go to dance. It's not because she wanted to be with what's his name. It's because she can't dance because she'll fall down.
Yeah. So I legitimately wonder if the author of the book gave her that character trait so she could tie in the end how when everything happens they're like, oh, you fell down the stairs and went through a glass window or whatever it was. I wonder if that was the only way she could think of like coming up with an excuse for her injuries. So she had to work backwards to think of like, well, crap, how do I make people believe that? I know, I'll say she's clumsy all the time. And she happened to slip downstairs and through a window. Like I legitimately wonder that at this point, because
the bit with me is
to be a writer.
The bit with me on this scene, it annoyed me because of the dad, because the dad is the chief of police, and you don't think he would have put grit down.
Yeah, true.
That is what annoyed me. I was like, why would he would be like no health and safety, would have to make sure the grit is outside of the police station, and he wouldn't do his home. Was like bored and he's outside already.
I can say, being in a family of first responders, they take care of their own last. they take care of everyone else first. Okay. It is true. But I hate this scene because the scene in the book was actually a better scene. The scene in the book is she comes down, she's leaving for school a little early because she knows it's going to be bad weather. She doesn't slip in the book, but she notices that there are chains on her tires, and she does stop for a millisecond to appreciate the fact that her dad got up super early to put chains on her tires, and that's in the film he's gone to have snow tires put on her truck, but in the book it's his effort, because it's a real pain in the to put chains on tires, and he's done that for her, and she is slightly grateful. It's the only time I swear that she has any gratitude toward her parents in the book. But I'm sad that that's not in the film, because I won't call it a redeeming quality, but they've eliminated one of the nice things that she did or thought. And that stinks. That's just terrible.
And so after that, they go back to the only class at school is the biology class. I'm guessing it's because they're trying to make out that's the only time they sit together. I'm guessing.
I think so.
And again, somebody's trumped. Or let's just call it that. Literally, what is these facial expressions like that? So they have like an interaction as well. Yeah, every time like that. It's like, oh, sorry. Oh no.
that was a pretty good. That was a pretty good mimic fart there. That wasn't bad, Stasis. I got to say that sounded real.
Yeah, maybe it was. Would have been better than this movie.
Or it's Edward. You've used the wrong color of lipstick today. God, today was orange instead of bright cherry red.
Yeah, that's a number 14. It's look at that. It's just every time. And the worst thing is, this is why it's like I always say, like this shot, how they shot it with when they do the kind of close-ups. Like, I don't get what they were doing. Like, it's because they film it as it was going to be on TV. That's why, like, I think some of the close-ups they do, because it is like, when you get like their view, it's very TV, like that kind, like 2000 TV thing. There's no like dramatic. Right. There's no dramatic. Let's get the shot and then dramatically zoom in, pan out, pan in. Like there is none of that. It's like there's no fading in this. It's just literally. And it's like they wanted it, so when they could get that commercial break, they could move on. It's like, it's because some of it, like some of the transitions between scene to scene, it's just like done, scene, next scene. There's no like actual transition. It's just like stopped. We're at the high school now, and it feels like they're just chopping it up to like, that's
even narrative, right? Even narrative wise, it doesn't feel like there's anything like this part. Okay, this part of the story now stops. We move to the next scene. Next part stop. Like it's not even just like I know exactly what you mean. I didn't notice it until you just pointed it out, but like it is made or designed to have perfect pause points, almost as if. And maybe it was a case of they knew they'd be playing it on TV, or figured like the Harry Potter movies still get played on TV to this day, nonstop. Maybe that's what they assumed for this.
I didn't think that. I thought maybe I had the wrong version, because I did notice how quickly it stopped and started. But honestly, I also stopped and started it quite a bit, because the best thing I saw this weekend, and the only way I could get through this film, was that in the middle of watching this film, I watched Independence Day on Independence Day.
Oh, nice.
That is a great film, and a great film to watch on Independence Day. So it broke up the pain of watching this thing on that day. Oh my God.
But so we get the so many flaws in this scene. To begin, like now he's gone into full, and I gotta say it, stalker mode. He's like now he's like being a bit weird.
100%.
Yeah, it's just like there's no like give him a monologue that he can like explain why he's gone a bit weird, because he's just gone weird in this bit.
It's so over the top, like cryptic, brooding, bad boy that girls like.
But even this, how are going to act?
Don't
move. Just don't move. Just
rigid and stiff. He just plays it like he's insane. Like
and
the
this
way
is
he
where
interacts with her is not how humans interact with one another.
He's psychopathic.
He's immortal, but that's more what I mean. Is like, okay, I get that you're immortal, blah blah blah. You've been around for hundreds of years, or 100, whatever the hell it's been. I forget what year he went vampire. But it's not just. You would think that you'd be more comfortable around humans than you are, but like it's just this. You act literally like an insane person. Like the way somebody must have called you out on this at some point. It's not
what cryptic. You're doing. Yeah.
It's not like the brooding bad boy that girls like. It's like you might be mentally insane, dude.
Yes, like I could understand if his name was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, like that
is it. Like a proper, crazy. I'm going to eat, like but like even like school friend, like even if they're not school friends or whatever like that, you'd be looking at him, clocking her, and be like, "Mate, what you doing?"
Yeah, like you good? Dude?
Like somebody would have a word, be like, what are you doing, you weirdo? You keep staring at her like that, and like somebody would pick it up. It's just like
and like
there's nothing else around.
And they even press on that a little bit with the Mike character, who later on is kind of like, oh, so you're with the Cullen kid, huh? I don't know that I like that for you.
200
so like they play on it a bit.
Junior high.
Yeah, it's something like that. I forget what year he turned vampire.
Yeah, we'll talk about.
You would think he learned
1918 Spanish.
Oh, last time the Red Sox won a world title.
There you go. Yeah,
2004.
He was saved by the doctor because he was dying of the Spanish flu.
Right. That's right. It did say 1918. I totally forgot that.
Saved.
Yeah, it's just it's insane. The way he acts is like. Again, they wanted that trope of that brooding bad boy, he's mysterious. Nobody knows a lot about him, but it just comes off like a psychopath.
Yeah. Now
he does explain it later in the film.
Yeah.
When he's talking to her. In the book, it's kind of interspersed more that he's gone back. He's talked to Dr. Cullen. Dr. Cullen wants all of his, quote, kids, who are now hundreds of years old, to find love. He wants them, and that's why the older kids are paired up, because they're really old people. And he wants that for Edward too. So when Edward found that that person that he's attracted to, he talked to him and, he said, okay, should I, try to fight the attraction, which is the attraction to literally kill her. Should I go away? Should I tell her to go away? So he's working through in his mind, he's going to tell her, like, you're not good for me, or it's not safe to be friends with me. Then he's going to disappear. He goes to disappear for a specific reason. He's working it through in his mind. He's already made up his mind that she's his. You don't know any of that. So everything you've said is exactly right, because this guy's a wacko.
Now, I must say, if I was the dad and I met Bella, I would go, oh, just kill her. Just do your urges. She's so annoying like that. Like, just literally, we're feasting her tonight. Look, we're not vegetarian tonight. Literally, this one's annoying.
You beat me to it, Sandy.
Yeah.
Well played.
And all she does, it keeps on farting all over the place like that.
Yeah. She's stinking up the house. Yeah. She's annoying.
Oh, every like
criticizing my makeup.
But now we get the movement of the, whilst this is happening, a car SUV skids. Now, this annoyed me. Now I can understand if it was in the middle of nowhere and the ice, the thing.
I know exactly.
But this was a car park. This was a car park where multiple cars have taken that away.
Right.
And it's a school one, and you're telling me again health and safety and all that, like, it's just silly. And how he loses control, it's just like, no, don't get it. But like, they did it just to try it again. It's bad writing, because it was like, how do we get him to accidentally reveal his powers?
Right.
Oh, a car crash kind of thing.
And what's silly is it's like
Spider-Man.
Yeah. And what's silly is it's like, all right, how do we do it so only she sees it? Well, we'll have the cars kind of meet like this, so it creates this shield from him. They won't know it was him who did it, except he hops over the backside of the car to leave with everybody who's right there running towards the scene, looking right at him. So it makes no sense. They went as far as to try to hide him from everybody, but not the fact that he even, and you can say, okay, they didn't see how he stopped it. Fair enough. Aren't they going to wonder why he just jumped out of there and started running in the opposite direction instead of like sticking around to make sure everything's okay? It's so stupid. At least have him like leave through the front here, because maybe he could have left crouched still behind the view of the cars and then super speeds out of there. He literally jumps over it in the direction that everybody's running. I thought that was the craziest, like, not paying attention to detail that I've seen in, well, at least to this point of the movie. More come later on.
Now, I will say, there were a few little redeeming threads in the. I won't even call them redeeming threads. A few tolerable storylines.
I was gonna say, Bridge, you were like, I can bear this.
Yeah.
And one of them was, so the boy who spins out and nearly hits her is Tyler, who's driving the van. Throughout the book, he is trying to make it up to her. He feels so bad. And you see him in the hospital saying, I'm sorry, Bella. I'm sorry, Bella. And like the dad is like, I don't want to hear it. You're not driving anymore. Dude, dad's going to take it out on Tyler. Throughout the book, it is actually a cute little story that he's just constantly trying to make it up to her, because, okay, here's one more character. Maybe there's 3 now that are okay people. Tyler seems like an okay human in this book, but they don't use it. It's too much to add that storyline to the film, but it was a good storyline in the book. Probably one of few, very few.
I had to have at least one good thing about it.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God.
And then these two, jeez Louise.
Now he's the newbie vegetarian, but they've witnessed it, so they've got so like that. But then we get kind of Bella gets taken to the hospital. Well, they both do, and the other driver, where we finally meet like Mr. Anemic. Like if he turned up, I'd be like, seriously. You're not going to be my doctor. It's like when you get like they say,
I'm good. When you get, I'm fine. I'm out of here.
It's like when you get an obese doctor, and you're like, look, you're not treating me. If you can't look after yourself, you're not exactly with him. It looks like, look, there is some blood condition you've got down there. If you can't treat you that, no, I want a new person like that. And so
They're just like they're over the top with the paling of the vampires.
Yes.
Like they legitimately make them look to the point where like
no, they explain it.
They're not alive.
They're from Alaska.
Is that what they say? Yeah, like
they're from Alaska.
They look like corpses. They don't look alive.
Yeah.
It's just too over the top. Like I get it. They need to be more pale than everybody else and more pale than even Bella.
People
I get
from
it.
Alaska, they don't.
This is I know plenty of people who are pretty pale.
RT doesn't.
I'm proper pale. I'm not.
Yeah, like I know plenty of pale people. I've got a lot of Irish friends here in Boston. Like they, pale is a common theme here. I've seen a lot of it. Never seen it look undead like this. It's crazy.
If they're trying to blend in, and this is going to like that, like it would make more sense that they would there was like a thing they used a bit of makeup
spray
and
tan.
Or like something, and then it and then she noticed it on his he was wearing a watch, and the next day wasn't, and the tan came off. Like, just explain it that way. Like, not just they look really anemic. It's like, look, here's some vitamin D tablets. Like, just go for it. Knock yourself out. It's just it's a bit odd, but that's what they try to do. Like the whole again with her being pal. It's like, oh look, they're meant for each other. Like in a really stupidity sense of like, oh look, they both got the same whiteness, let's go like that. It's like it's stupid. But so she gets sent home, and again we get Mr. Stalker while she's having a dream.
He's there. He's there.
I don't know, that's it.
He can't sleep. He doesn't sleep.
Now, of course, like people are going to say, like, okay, there's different vampire stories and all that. He's not asked for permission to come in, but also he's got a shadow. I
didn't notice that.
He's got a shadow. Everything. Yeah, they've like so. In other words, they probably just went, you know what? We're not CGIing that out. Like we can't do it because we need that lighting to make this dramatic, like from outside, because that is a bright light that she's got coming through her window in like in a place that's really gloomy most of the time. So the moonlight or the outside light is bloody thing. But it's again. Then she wakes up and he's gone.
And this is a crazy thing to do. Again, this isn't him in this mysterious kind of brooding character. This is a psychotic thing to do, to sneak into somebody's house and watch them sleep. And even later on, when he tells her that was what he was doing, she's just like not bothered by it. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. This is insane.
Can you imagine? I'm going to be things like that. Can you imagine I fancied you, and then we got together, and then
sorry, Jade.
I know, but then I told you weeks later. Oh, by the way, I used to sneak into your bedroom and look at you at night whilst you were asleep.
Well, this is why you had to.
Would you get like that's fine? That's fine with me.
Right? It's insane. This is why Stasis had to start locking Abe's cage at night, because Abe started doing this in the corner of Stasis's room. It's insane. True. It's insane behavior.
Oh, it's just like, no, this is like, and then I was like, and then he's gone. It's like, and then it's just I don't even get why this scene is here, because it just makes him look creepy. It doesn't make him look like I'm here to protect you and make sure you're okay. It's just like, no, you just look like a proper creep, and that is it. I guess in their head they were like, he's gone there to make sure she's okay. Your dad is the bloody doctor.
Yeah.
He would have gone.
That never even crossed my mind to think that that's why.
Yeah, because he was
doing because it's such a crazy thing to do that all my mind could think was like, wow, that's incredibly weird. I didn't even consider that it was to check up on her. But then again, even
that's the only way I can think of. That's the only way I can think of.
Even later on, he says like, I've done it a few times. I just kind of when I'm not sleeping, it brings me peace. So it's like it probably still wasn't even because of that. It seems to just be something he does.
But and then I've got like the next bit. Okay, so he is wary that he needs to go distance from her, and so they go on a botanical it looks like they're field trip to a garden center. This is a garden center. It looks like
it's like a compost, probably like a earthy, crunchy kind of farm or something out in Washington.
I don't get
the biology
we compost,
very
we this. Yeah, it's gotta be.
So they're having their little bit of like, you don't like me. like, you know, and he realized he's just done another one, and he's like, this is the reason. Like, look at that is not the same shot as the one previously. They look exactly the same. That's it. So he realizes, oh, we're in public, you've just done it again. Like, come on, Bella, this is getting out of hand. But yeah, it's just, again, it's just a terrible back and forth of, like, you know, why, like, this whole conversation is like, yeah, I think there is this the bit where there's been a time gap and he's like, I've just gone out of state for a bit.
I
can't remember.
No, I
it
think
was
we
after
passed
this.
that. Oh, I thought
Or
we
maybe-
passed that because I thought at this point they were already starting to.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he says that when they first start working together in the lab again, when they're going passing the microscope back and forth. So I think this is. I think we skipped over that.
Yeah,
which we rightfully so. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we
That's
need
it.
to
But
go
then,
into.
yeah, but then, like, so we have that. There's a bit like just to get them together, and then she's kind of thinks, yeah, like how short she is compared to him, though. Like,
I do think he's a tall-ish guy. I'm not sure. I for some reason I thought he was like 6 because I remember people talking about it a lot when he got cast as Batman. Because, you know, anytime somebody's cast as a superhero, that you've got to be the right size, the right look, the right this, the right that. So I want to say he's over 6 feet, but I just don't know how far.
Yeah,
not sure.
But she is short, though.
She is short. Yeah, but yeah. So they go to. We're going.
Now they're at the beach.
At the beach.
The beach is on a
and
Native
this has got to be like
reservation.
Yeah, so this is like, we know it's past October because we've already said that. So this is going to be choppy and cold as anything. And I'm guessing the Pacific.
It's always that way in the Pacific.
I was going to say
it's always cold.
But now it's going to be cold.
Like, you swim in the Atlantic Ocean here. Like, now you do not swim in the Pacific. It is cold all the time.
Is Pacific colder than Atlantic?
Cold and rough.
I would have thought it would have been warmer.
I knew rough because of the surf. Because I knew people, you know, like to surf out that way. I would have thought warmer. I did not realize.
I've been in San Diego in August, and it's freezing.
Huh?
Absolutely freezing.
Interesting.
I guess I haven't been missing out on that over here on the.
No, you're fine. Atlantic beaches are better, unless you're a surfer. Then it's fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can't surf here. Well, people try, and it's kind of funny. It's really not.
Now, I like that. I took this. This is like, except for what she's wearing, complete. This is the only time she actually looks a bit natural, and I like that because she's not doing her stupid faces when she's actually talking to like the kids and the and Jacob. She actually looked like her eyes are like, and I like this. She looks like a teenager, and I was like, then it just falls apart.
And the scene kind of. Can't even speak. The scene kind of finally has a bit of like a vibe of like, oh, these are a group of friends. Like, okay, I can kind of believe these guys are all friends.
Yeah. And then of course they go, like, her and Jacob goes off, and then he explains that the Collins don't ever come here, and then she's like, but kind of queries why they go that, because, and he tells a story of that he's clan, the legend is they're made from wolves, or like birth from wolves,
descended from wolves.
Yeah, something like that. And then you have a bit of a flashback, like really bad. And then the Collins were like, what they call it, a counter, like another clan, I think remember. It was. Yeah, and then but they were different. And then the leader of their ancient leader allowed them to stay on the land because they were different than the other rival clan. Doesn't really go into it. He doesn't know the story yet. We find out later why. But
the one thing to point out in that flashback, the costumes in that looked awful. I don't know if you guys happened to catch it, but the costumes looked horrible in that. Like, on the clan things, we're like,
it was like a high school play.
I was just gonna say, like a cheap,
the leader of my clan met the leader of your clan.
It like the hats look like the first thing I could think of, the headwear of the Native American actors. They looked like wolves from the most recent Minecraft movie, like the square kind of. It was,
oh my gosh,
it was the weirdest looking headpieces. But even the clothes the Cullens were wearing were like these 1920s-ish, maybe, or maybe older. I don't know. It was suspenders and all that, wool pants. It just looked awful. It looked like a company. What do they call it? A company theater, like a local company theater.
It reminded me of they've taken the Indian costumes of Peter Pan, and then the things of the kids of Peter Pan. Like they did a place.
Fair enough.
Like that. So it looked like that. It was it
Oh,
was
what
they
it
doing?
was a brief little scene, but the second I saw the costumes, I'm like, wait a minute, did I just see what I thought I did? And then it kind of went back to it, and I pointed to my wife. I'm like, you see how bad the costumes look in this? It was.
That's why I think they put that heavy filter, didn't they? They put a really heavy filter.
It didn't help enough, but maybe because they just looked like cheap stuff you might have found laying around some, like I said, like some company theater, some like
theater company,
community theater. Community theater. That's some theater company and community theater. Those are the two terms I was going for.
But that is the problem with this scene as well, because he's got this folklore story and like been told for the ages, and he can't deliver the story because the dialogue is so poor. So they need that flashback. It would have been good if they just sat on a rock and then have the storm and he's just telling the story
and hear the storm around it. And that's one of the things where I think, to Sandy's point earlier, there are some slight threads of like an interesting story here, because I do think there's an interesting concept there. It's just wasted in a horrible story and movie and book.
But so from that we get our introduction to the vampires. What's her? I can't remember her name. James is the other guy.
Catherine, maybe.
Is
no.
It? Wait a minute. Let me look at the. I have my list of.
Oh God, it's just.
I have my list of actors here.
I know the other one. I think was Jacob. No, Jacob was the werewolf. Victoria. Oh, Jesus, I wasn't even close.
Victoria, James, and Laurent.
Now, we say now I didn't know this from Jade. This actress is probably the most stupidest actress in the world, because in the book series, Victoria becomes a heavy part of that. And if you notice a few things, it's a different actress.
Oh, she didn't
this actress. No, this actress filmed this and then demanded more money or I'll leave. And they went, goodbye. Goodbye. Because she read the books, I'm guessing, or so got told.
So she must have thought she was important, not the Victoria character.
So,
classic mistake.
And this bit, she's got like I don't think she's got any lines. I don't like if it is, it's like
barely.
Honestly, no. I think she's got like one line when they're getting ready to attack.
Like does she say something like
or whatever?
Something to yes, you're right. No, when they attack, because we skipped over this, I think, or maybe it's coming up. No, this is it, actually. Excuse me. This is it here.
Yeah.
When they attack this guy, she says a few menacing lines to him, or a menacing line to him, I believe.
Like, that's what all humans say. It's like when
they always say the same things. Why do you do this?
Yes.
You don't have to do whatever the hell it is. It's cheesy.
So we get
Abercrombie model. Like I don't understand.
I
mean, in the same sense, I do, because this is literally like back in this time, being a teenager, going to the mall, hanging out there, and all that. If you were to walk by if you were to walk by the Abercrombie store, not only would they have these kind of posters of like the guys with the jeans like this, the shirt off, all over the store. Occasionally, they would have a kind of like male model. I say male model. I don't know if he actually was or not, but they would have guys stand outside the front of the store, like shirtless with the little cologne bottles.
And cologne bottle.
This was kind of the thing back in 2008. This look for that.
Whatever happened to Benetton? That was Benetton too. You probably don't remember.
I don't think I remember that.
United Colors of Benetton.
Benetton was the original before Abercrombie and Fitch, and then I think it just collapsed as a company because it's not here anymore.
We had Abercrombie, and then Hollister was the other one, the other big one. They were California, like it was like I don't know if it really originated in California, but that was their vibe. They were like, oh, we're the store that sells California style.
Shame. I think the fashion designer has left the chat, so we could actually got that.
Here. What happened to Benetton?
This is the one-time fashions ever come up on Film Club too.
There we go. But so we get that, and then we get now they're going to. I'm guessing it's a high school prom. I'm guessing because she's gone through shopping with her friends. They're
Anna Kendrick, by the way. Who remembered Anna Kendrick was in this movie? I didn't. Totally
it's forgot. A bit. Her kind of starting, wasn't it? Again,
this would have been the biggest thing, I think, to this point.
But but their lines they just get is like you don't even have to. They don't have to be in the movie. They're just there to actually say that Bella actually has friends. That is it. Like, she's not an absolute like loner. It would have been better if she was just a loner. Like,
it
that
would have made more
book,
sense.
These characters are important because for some reason, Mike is attracted to her. Tyler's attracted to her. All these guys are attracted to her, and she just wants to get rid of him. So she's kind of manipulating them to say, well, Mike, I wouldn't go to the prom with you because that'll make Jessica mad. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, what do you think it means? Oh, she likes me. And then, so she's pairing off these girls with the boys that are attracted to her in the book. In the book, it's not the prom. There's 2 dances. The first dance is the girls' choice dance where the girls get to choose who they're going to take. She's not going to go because she's got 2 left feet, so she's not going to the dance.
Now, I must say there was a bit like we just skip over at when they're at the beach, when I think she's talking to the one on the left, and she goes, I like such and such, but he's not asked me to the prom. And she's like, but you're a strong, independent woman. You can ask him to the prom. I was like, was this the start of that moment in like that? Every woman's like, we have to depict them as like strong, independent. You're a strong and independent woman. You're like, oh, come on. Like, but you need to say it as well. They just can't act it. Like, we need to rubber stamp that. Yeah, it's so yeah, we get onto that.
Yep.
And then we get like her walking home.
It made no sense in the book. I wasn't going to replay it. I was not going to rewind it, because sometimes if something doesn't make sense, I'll rewind and listen again. This made no sense. She's shopping with them on the main street. She gets tired. She wants to go explore. She's going to meet them at the restaurant. She's going to go around the corner. She gets herself so lost in the book that she ends up in the industrial part of town, like miles and miles and miles away. And she gets cornered in a back alley. It makes no sense whatsoever in the book. And in the film, they just skipped right to it. They didn't even show her getting lost. And so in the film, it was 10 times worse, because how did she get here?
The book, let's say the book 2005, there was Google Maps.
You didn't even, it's a main street. You go in a straight line. You turn around, you come back up the other side. Right. I do it every day.
Just go back the way you came.
Yeah. Or, Dad, you're the, you know all the streets around here. I'm at such and such. I need to get such and such, because you're a policeman. So he could, like, literally, there's, like,
so bad.
I've told this story before of like somebody who's just kept on walking and walking through the desert, and then they just didn't stop. They just kept on walking, and like that exactly the same thing. You're gonna stop. You go like, oh, I'm getting lost. I just keep on going. I'm lost. I just keep on going. I'm more lost. I just keep on going. It's just, yeah, this whole scene is just, again, it's silly because, like, one, he must realize she's getting lost because he says he's been looking out for her, and then he does a minor turn of like being I'm a vampire to the guys. They mess up. Like, it would have been better if like he acts like he purposely took a beating but got them away. It would have been more romantic. It would have been more romantic. He's gone to save her. There's 5 of her. He's not going to get injured. He knows it, but he's taking the beating to keep her safe. So she thinks he's done her, the hero's thing like that. It would have made sense, but he just goes, get in the car. And then, yeah, it's silly. And then, of course, they get like angry to each other in the car. I'm guessing she locked the windows.
Oh, this scene is so
the way he finds her. You mentioned earlier about some of them having like extra powers. His extra power is he can read minds. He can read everyone's mind except hers. And that's another thing that bothers him. It's like, why can't I read her mind? So he can read, he's purposely like mind reading all of her friends and all the people around her so that he can figure out what she's doing. And that's how he knew she didn't show up for dinner on time. And then he started reading the minds of the guys who were following her. And then he did his super vampire drive 1,000 miles an hour and get there. And he's angry at her for being stupid. He's right. She's stupid. She does stupid things. but he should be like done with her at this point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be angry at her. I would just be like, okay, you just keep doing stupid things.
Because it's like a heroin. It's like heroin to him.
Oh, that line
I wrote
is
that
so
down.
bad.
Inappropriate throughout the entire book. Inappropriate references to addiction is one of the worst things about this book. I wrote it, ill-placed and inappropriate references to addiction is just wrong in so many places in this book. I think only in the film there's only 2 places they talk about heroin, and then they talk about alcohol, I think, at one point. In the book, it's strewn through the book, and it's awful.
Bad in a lot of places, isn't it? So
it's awful.
But yeah, it's then of course, what do you do? Like, you're pissed off of her, you know, she's late for the meal. Let's go for a meal. What are you doing? It's like, you know, I'm taking you home. Taking your dad to your dad. You're being an idiot. You're being immature. I'm taking you back. Like, why much? Like, and it's just like they the author and the director in this account, like, I'm guessing same, just goes, you know how romance is between 2 awkward people? This is it. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not. You can have like the most 2 quietest people, but they find a way. This is just awkward. There's no connection between these 2 to say I want them to get together. You get them movies and you get them books. You're like, I really hope they get together. And even like, you know, like when they do, like, yay, you have a little girly moment. Like, but this,
it's forced. It's forced trying to recreate an awkward couple. One of my favorite bits of dialogue from a movie about something similar to this is Pulp Fiction, when Uma Thurman's talking to John Travolta's character at the diner about being comfortable enough to enjoy somebody else's silence. And I've always liked that, because I really think that's something kind of like a really neat concept in terms of, love that you have for people, whether it be a significant other or just like friends or family members, where like 2 people can comfortably sit in a room together and not really speak about anything, or like, you know, whatever it may be. I think there's a really cool concept there. And I think it's very true. You know, you don't have to fill every silence in your life. And you don't have to feel awkward when you're with somebody sharing a silence like that. That concept of being comfortable in another person's silence, I've always really liked. This movie is trying to do that awkward couple thing. And I think awkward couples thrive in that exact type of thing. Like, they're both fine in each other's silence because they're a bit shy, but that, like, both of them are more comfortable being shy. Thus, an awkward couple or a shy couple, however you want to put it, gets together and does well because they're both they're both perfectly fine sharing that, you know, silence and then that with each other.
But look at, like you said, the Pulp
doesn't
Fiction
flow
one.
like this. This just feels like 2 people who aren't comfortable with each other's silence.
But can you imagine the Pulp Fiction one? There's that, like, the levity, there's that silence, and then she announces that, and there's that the pausing. Like, should I say this? Should I not say this? There's an awkwardness about it. Can you imagine her delivery of that things? And then they turn to John Travolta's character, and he just looks like she just let one rip. Like, what is that? Like, that's the problem. That is the thing, because there's that moment of, I need to think about what I'm going to say next. Like, that delivery. Like, everybody doesn't go blah 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 blah. Look at the vocabulary I've got. They're like, it's not happening, because people need time to think about their next line, especially if they're trying to, you know, like, I'm trying to get a romantic connection. There needs to be that, the stumbling. There needs to be that, I've made a mistake. This is like, every word is perfect, but every word doesn't make sense. And that is the thing. It's like delivery of delivery. There's just that, there's no back and forth. Like this, even when they try to do it, is where, oh, what would be romantic? I know. They both reach for the same thing. She touches his hand, but then she feels it's cold. You know, like that to the touch. It's just, it's false.
Also, because that does happen in the. Sorry, I just got sidetracked in that, because I pointed that out to my wife too. That happens in the car scene, right, where she touches his hand and it's cold.
Yep.
Dude, everybody's got cold, or a lot of people have cold hands. You wouldn't automatically assume something's got to be up with this guy. I know one of my best friends, one of my best female friends. She's always had cold hands, bad circulation in her hands her entire life. They're ice cold. I've never once thought, oh, she might be a vampire. Like,
that's it. Like, oh my god, they got
Yeah,
they
like,
got
that's a
clammy
crazy
hands.
thing to
They must
jump
be
to.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a bizarre thing to jump to just because his hand was a little bit cold. That's super common.
It's on the skin, though. We won't bring that. He's got weird eyes on the skin.
Oh,
He's
God.
got
Yeah.
cold hands. He's got cold hands. But yeah,
All
so
right.
from
Well, you
that,
want to make yourself vomit a little bit more?
go on.
Oh, God. What do
So
they do in
in
the
the
book?
when she is done with her schoolwork and she picks out her for fun reading, of course it's the selected works of Jane Austen. I mean, again, the word is trite. It's, it's just the least common denominator for a dislikable, I think I'm too smart for everyone. I'm always moody, broody, sarcastic, and smug teenager who's also a victim. Oh, and in my free time, I read Jane Austen. I like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. But today I'm going to read Sense and Sensibility. You know what? If you're a real fan of Jane Austen, those are not the two you go to. Other works that are not,
The
you might
deep
go to
cuts.
But they're the
Mansfield
Hollywood
Park or
movies.
you might go
Oh,
someplace else.
Abe. So, I'm so sorry, Sandy. Abe stole my joke. I was just going to say that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you said trite, and the first thing I was going to say was more like shite, and
It is so
Abe
bad.
just stole it right from me. Good job, Abe.
It is so bad. Her whole damsel in distress nonsense, but a girl boss at the same time. You can't be both. I'm sorry, you can't be both.
Can't have it both ways.
Yeah. But yeah,
we're only about 1/3 of the way through this
I'm not
film, aren't
monoble.
we?
Like, but okay.
Yeah, something like that.
The thing is, the worst thing is, like, you got cold hands. I'm gonna research vampirism. Like, literally,
Yeah.
like
Not low
that,
blood
that was the
pressure.
big giveaway, right? Exactly.
Not low blood
straight to the book. Straight
Not
to the
like
book.
poor circulation, none of the logical things. Like, no. Where's my mystical book of mysteries?
Yeah.
It's got the answer's got to be in
Literally.
there.
Yeah, like
The
that
cold
Google
one.
wasn't that good, was it? That time, like, somebody's got cold hands. What could it be? It's not going to come out. Could be a vampire.
It's either bad
Could be,
circulation
yeah.
or undead.
It's
one of the two.
Diabetes, no. Like black disease, no. Straight to vampirism.
Oh, yeah, that's all you got left. Vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, this whole reveal is absolutely make it interesting.
The editing on it is so lame too. It reminded me of, do you guys remember the montage in the first Spider-Man movie when Tobey's finally kind of putting his suit together with like the suit designs and it was that, kind of cheesy early 2000s editing. I love that. I absolutely love that scene. This felt like it wanted to be one of those kind of montages and it just was so bad. So bad.
Like, it's and then of course she gets back to school and we have like, oh, something's wrong. Yeah, and he knows by the way she looks.
Oh, that's right. This is so bad. It's
yeah,
so bad and dramatic. Like
he knows that she knows that he knows that she knows.
And she's gonna shoulder check him, and I'm gonna follow her up this mountain. Like it's so dramatic. Nobody interacts like that. It's
so they
crazy.
Does he walk off or they walk off together? I don't care.
She shoulder checks him and starts walking off into nowhere. And then he's like, oh, that's my cue. She must know I'm a vampire. Let me go explain it. And follows her into the Forbidden Forest from Harry Potter.
Okay, this is literally like the stupid horror movies, and I think we said this previously, is where a woman knows there possibly is danger going to the woods. Yeah, he's been
might
stalking
be a vampire.
He's a psychopath, and he may be a vampire. You do not know if he's a good. There's no good vampires at the moment in what we know. Because she doesn't know how to die because I got and then is this the spider monkey bit, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. I think.
Is this? I think it is. Is it? Or there's two.
It's either this or later from when they jump out of the bedroom window.
And then they have a little thing, and then he explains the stupidest way about being who he is. And it's
how he's moving all through the trees. This was possibly the first
out the root of the tree.
I burst out belly laughing at watching him run up this mountain. The effects on this are so bad. My wife and I completely lost it.
This is terrible. This is literally it's so bad. Sandy, is this how they explain it in the book?
So in the book, again, based on the narrator of the audiobook, it was not an angry scene. Like here, it's, I could smash you. I could do this to you. Don't you know what I could do to you?
Bad.
In the book, it was at least the reader read it like, well, don't you understand what I could do to you? It was actually more thoughtful, and it felt like it was probably in a contained area. I think what they were going for in the film was a bigger scene, but they still used such a self-contained area. This was the scene, the first time in the film where I thought, what a cheaply shot film.
Oh my goodness.
Because if you wanted to make this point, this grand point, you would have stopped just going back and forth and running up the same two trees. You would have had a different setting maybe, or some other way of handling the scene. But I just thought, this is so cheap. And they went here for anger when I had already read the book that didn't read it that way. It read it in more of challenging, right? But not angry, like questioning, why are you okay? He said something like, two things you said bothered me, but the worst was not that it's that you're okay with it. And he didn't say that in an angry way in the book. He says it in a very angry way here. So yeah.
Well, the whole level of anger he has in this just feels so cringe to watch. And then the way he's like moving up and down through, like you said, through the same exact trees, just like, now I'm on this branch, now I'm on that branch. It just looks, effect wise, it looks bad, but also just like, why are you climbing trees to have this conversation? Just stand there and talk to her. Why are you climbing trees right now? Like, it just, it felt almost like stage, like trying to do something as if it was for stage, but like
scenery chewing. As right.
Like that was kind of exactly. That's kind of what it felt like. Was like, I'm going to use this part. I'm going to use every part of this stage to get this emotion or this big impactful scene across. And it felt like they were trying to do that, but one, the actors weren't talented enough, and two, the people in charge weren't talented enough either, because they gave them horrible direction.
But then that happens, and then that's in the same set. It's not the stupidest thing in the movie.
No. Unfortunately, it's not. Yeah. Why make this decision? Why not just stick with the sun hurts them?
I know.
Now there is a thing. There is a thing. I got the. Now this is where I completely disagree with the author completely, because she was like, I want vampires, but I don't want vampires to have the same vampire trait they've always had. Then don't do vampires,
right? Like,
because you're trying to romanticize something like. Now I guarantee this woman has never read Bram Stoker's Dracula, any of the vampire novels, never watched, and like, even if you did, just watch a Hammer horror. You get vampires from that. You kind of get what the thing. There has to be some evil in them. There needs to be like some downfall in them. Then to just make them glitter, and then do it so badly, they just like, and then like she's like so into it. I'm a monster. Look at me, I'm ugly. And she's like, you're like a diamond. You're beautiful. It's just like,
it's so
you're killing me. You're killing me here. And it's like that. And like, yeah, I'm not going to be the end all of the sale to like vampires. But come on, read a book about vampires before you do a film of like a novel series about vampires. Because it's just changed it about, no, they're immortal. Okay, they're immortal. But they're like, make them immortal, but they're not vampires. There's something else. They're another entity. They don't have to be vampires. But she went, people have heard of vampires.
They could just be immortals.
Yes.
Like that book, the book I was telling you guys about last week, Tuck Everlasting, that I read when I was in school. I believe they were just immortals. Like that was it. There was some spring where they lived that they drank water from, if I recall. It was essentially a fountain of youth kind of thing. And that was it. They weren't vampires. Like, just make them immortal.
And Galadorn too. Anne Rice. I forgot about Anne Rice. That's what my mom was reading first. Before she read these, my mom was reading those because she liked the interview with the vampire. And all the rules you mentioned earlier about like not inviting them in, but the vampire can't come in until you invite them in. And that didn't none of that happened here either. And no, this is
I couldn't wrap my head around the change of why make it diamond shimmering skin? You could have just had it that the sun hurts them. That's fine, and it makes sense. You're gonna go live in Washington, super overcast
maybe
area.
Transparent.
It didn't have to be like, you got
like maybe
John,
that,
John Carpenter's one.
Crazy.
You get other ones. You get other vampires where they instantly blow up. Dust will Dawn.
Yeah.
They turn to dust. Yeah.
But then you got John Carpenter's vampires. Is it called? I think like they just slowly burn. They get there and they burn. So you have to keep them down. You have to keep them in the sun to kill them.
And even
just that, they just make it so we slightly blister.
Well, you just took the thought out of my head, Stasis. I was just gonna say, like, even if you don't want to go that graphic with it because you're trying to tone down vampires for a teen drama love story thing, like, okay, fine, you don't want to do the boiling skin or whatever. Make it a bad rash. We go in the sun, we get a really bad rash. Seriously. Like, it makes me feel gross, and I hide from the, for him to be like, I'm a monster with this shimmering diamond skin is just like crazy. It's such a ridiculous thought. But at least if you break out in a rash, you could be like, I don't want people to see me like this. Like, okay,
I'm so beautiful.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like,
but the thing is with this, and you look at like any vampire, but if you even go for like Underworld like that, you always have one element they've missed out into this. There are humans that know, and either they're trying to keep him in check because there's there's werewolves and vampires. No, we're the biggest ones, and we'll keep you in check. And also, or they've got a Abraham Van Helsing who are going to hunt them down. They've learned these are bad. Yeah, the hunter.
Reference so they've got to garlic or a cross or something.
So they've got that. So they've got no element. Even later on in the later books, the only downside is themselves because the werewolves are protectors of their land and keep them in check, but they're not as strong. But there's no element that goes, we're hunting you. We're more smarter than the vampire. Why? Because we can use your disadvantages to our advantage. They've got no advantage. They've got no. But if this was real in real time, we're all farm food because they've got they've got no restriction to their powers except for they glow like diamonds. That is it. Like we're gonna be like they would just take over the world. They would take over the world, and we'll be literally what they do in Blade 2. When they make us into like a body bag packs, don't they? I think it is Blade 2 or Blade 3. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, that's it. We're gonna be processed blood for them. That'll be it. Keep you literally like lambs to the slaughter. They would do it. Like there's no reason to be a vegetarian. They would just multiply, keep the strong, change who they want to change, and take over the world. Because why otherwise? There's just no reason. It's just a terrible concept of being a vampire. It's just again, it should be mortals, and the mortals. It would be clever. Like they've all got their powers, and they've all got different powers. They've got like when they get turned, they've all got things. And it would be cleverer to do it like going back to Highlander. Is when they kill one, they get their essence. They get that power.
Kind of power from that.
Kind of
you kill them, they get their power, and that's it. But it's not killing on sacred ground. It's a big taboo between the vampires. You shouldn't do it. But there are the ones out there that are the hunters. They are the ones taking out the vampires. It would have made more sense. Yeah, they killed humans for the blood, but they're or whatever. It's silly. It's just silly. But yeah, then you get this. It goes into romance.
Quick side question that just popped in my head when you mentioned something back there. Is one of the panelist picks in our wheel guilty pleasure? Like, do we have like Jay's guilty pleasure?
Do,
okay, perfect.
Yes.
Van Helsing might end up being mine. I love that movie. It's so not good, but I watched it when I was a kid and I fell in love with it. I love that movie so much. Sorry, vampires and all that just made me think of it. And then you mentioned Van Helsing.
Though. Yeah, that's
I love that. The Hugh Jackman one. Oh my God, I love that one.
But
I love it.
Do you know what pisses me off more about that movie? Because I think I don't mind him. Is why did they change his name from Abraham?
Oh,
it's Gabriel, isn't it? It's Gabriel.
Yeah,
it's Gabriel Van Helsing, didn't they? Changed his name.
I think it was like I didn't even notice that.
It doesn't sound.
They always just call him Van Helsing for the most part.
Yeah, but yeah, it's they call him Gabriel, and I'm like, oh. It's like, I'm putting
together a little list of answers for all those questions so I can be ready when the time comes. So that's going in one of my options for guilty pleasure.
But yeah, that will be a conversation. Yeah. But yeah, they go back and again, the sun goes onto him. It's romantic, isn't it? No, it's not. It's
There's
literally
nothing romantic about this.
All I can
They
think
have
about,
no chemistry.
None.
No.
And all I could think about here, just given my region, I don't know, maybe it's different in Seattle, but laying in that tall grass, you would be susceptible to so many ticks crawling on you. It would be insane. I would never lay in tall grass like that.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. But then they get back, and now they're back at high school. Now they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and he's wearing sunglasses. But if he was the Blues Brothers, I could understand it. But look at that overcast. That's all I've got to say. But then with this, we haven't we have a little conversation. Like he does explanations of, again, we get he's kind of this thing of why he is a vampire, how did he have turned, and like that. And he talks the Spanish flu, and he got the choice.
Oh, that is a misleading picture you chose.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes it look like the scene goes a whole different way.
But that's also kind of an underlying, I think that's thematic as well with all vampires, right? It's not always the man attacking the female, which was in the older vampire films, but the later vampire mythology is man on man, shall we say? Women on women. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's it's when you get it, it's they interview a vampire. We'll speak about that later, but that is very Dorian Gray. It's like I'm bored, and it is like that. It's we said that about would you want to live forever? I mean, like that. I say,
what would you give up to live forever?
Yeah, but also, what would you do and what would you try? It's like that. You would do, if you're 4,000 years in, you've probably done everything like that. Let's be politely.
I
like
still wouldn't read these books because it still would be a waste of time, even if I
please
lived
don't.
forever.
I advise you.
It would somehow find a way to still be a waste of time.
I've done everything else. I'm not reading them bastards.
I'm here to save your brains. That's what I'm here for. I have sacrificed. I think we also missed a scene in the lunchroom. It's an incredibly important scene to Film Club because they're drinking Pepsis. And we have another Pepsi product placement. We have in this film, the only 3 items I saw consistently were his Volvo, which in the book, it's a Beamer, not a Volvo. His silver Volvo, one of the kids has a Reebok hat on pretty consistently, and then the Pepsi. So I just wanted to have our little product placement moment.
I'm not saying what 17.
Yeah,
what 17-year-old drives a Volvo?
They aspire to it.
Actually, I knew a few. They were hand-me-down cars. You didn't have much of a choice. I knew a few.
That's it. Like,
Volvo
you do.
drivers.
Like, you can have my old car. Why is it a Volvo? Bugger.
Shit.
Like that. You're not that. But this is like a newish one. This is like
this was like you had a lease on it or something.
How old are you? I'm 40. Like that. So it's but yeah, so they have a moment like he takes her back, doesn't he? And then of course that little boyfriend there. But he leaves, and then of course somebody else has done the smell. This time they smell each other. The chieftain, I'm guessing, like the leader of the I forgot the clan. Who cares? But they give a little stare out. And
he's the elder.
Yeah, there should have been more.
This was an interesting concept. It was kind of like a nice idea of like the sensing and all that.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of liked it, but it just wasn't. And I think they go more into it in the second movie. I think this is lead up to that. But like, I don't know. There was something about the tension between them that I liked.
Yeah,
but
they need to
do enough of
more. Like they're pissed off with each other, even though there needs to be something more. Like I think is New Moon the next one, or is it Eclipse?
I think so. Is it Blood Moon? Is it New Moon? I thought it was Blood Moon for some reason. Is it New Moon?
I have no idea.
It's Moon something or other. And I do believe they go more into the werewolf stuff.
Yeah,
in that one,
and it's like, but this just needed to be like, don't splurt it out, but give them this, the clan as they call it, whatever. Like, give them more. just give him more emphasis.
If even just because it was good. Like it was, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying it was cinematic greatness, but it was one of the few good parts of the movie where I'm like, okay, I kind of like the tension. Even earlier when Edward's like, oh yeah, I don't go to the beach, it's a little crowded there or whatever, like to find out that it's really because it was on the reservation and it's land he can't, like, I liked that little thread of story they were telling there, this little interaction with Edward and Jacob's father. I liked those parts. I thought, I'm like, oh, this is another interesting part of the story, as well as Jacob's kind of telling of the lore of the rivalry between the two. Like, not that he did a good job with it, but
in this scene, by the way,
that too, and he's just doing a drive-by facial expression, like he's not doing much.
But look, that, he's doing it. He's giving a stare out. He's giving a stare out, not like
like it doesn't look stupid.
It doesn't. It looks like what the hell
he's
are you doing?
Shaking his head and blinking his eyes and looking in 20 million directions.
Yeah, it's not like who just let one rip. It's just literally like,
oh, I know who you are.
I'm checking you out. Yeah, yeah, and that's it. But from that, of course, we get like what we've kind of skipped over is Edward has decided, Bella, you got to meet the family.
Very abruptly out of nowhere, went from can't know my secret to now you're gonna know everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Oh,
knowing that his like at least two of his siblings are still mad at him for displaying his powers. Like, why would you do this to her? I don't understand this motivation.
So, but then so we get like he's blatantly told them because like they're idiots. Like the whole this whole Collins are idiots. Like I also, was it Collins? They picked Collins because of the old TV series.
Oh my God, you're talking about don't say it. Dark Shadows.
Yes.
Yes.
Are they Collins?
They're the Collins. Yeah, they're the Collins.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Barnabas. Yes.
Barnabas
oh my
Collins.
gosh, I didn't think about that. I
always
used to watch that when I was little. They played the reruns.
They just rebooted that show, didn't they?
Johnny Depp.
No, I'm thinking That's What We Do in the Shadows. They did the Johnny Depp reboot of Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
Dark Shadows was a soap opera.
Yes.
Really?
It was a soap opera about vampires. It
70.
It had to be the 70s because the reruns were playing in the 80s. And my grandmother, God bless her, that woman knew everything about every soap opera. Everyone, even the bad ones like Mary Hartman, and Dark Shadows. And oh my God.
I mean, I don't remember it at all, but I remember enjoying watching the Johnny Depp reboot of that.
I
Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, was in it as well.
Yeah, and Helen Bonham Carter.
Was she in it too? And Green, right?
Yes. Eva Green, yes.
There's an Eva Green for you again. Yeah. Jay, we need a little ding bell for you, like the Sam Neill bell for me.
That's it. But
I didn't hate that movie, honestly.
No, I actually, it's
I remember. I don't remember a thing about it, but I remember
enjoyable and forgettable.
Exactly.
I enjoyed that. Never got. Oh, hello.
I think somebody just rang the doorbell. I think probably Amazon. I will be right back.
Okay. Well, but this whole scene's like the dinner. So he's been told, and they go
Italiano for you because you're Italian.
Because her name's Bella. She must be Italian.
Must be Italian.
Oh, I was like, you absolute idiots. You've been living how many years? And then, of course, there's a bit of back and forth. They tell Jacob, they introduce to the family. I think it's Jacob is the new vegetarian. He's like, is struggling to not kill her. And he's like, okay, got it. Okay, that's
not
okay,
Jacob, because Jacob's the
is it Jacob? Which one is it?
Jacob's the wolf, Jasper.
Jasper, that's it, Jasper. So yeah, Jasper is the new vegetarian. That is with the one who can predict
Rosalie. Alice.
He's Alice who can see the
Alice
future.
likes her. Alice.
And then because she can see the future, can't she? She can see because she says, "Oh no, it's okay. We're going to be good friends." So that's like her little power that she can foresee the parts of the future. But you know what really, really grinds me in this bit, and it makes it a bit weird. And I mean, it's weird. So when they're going up the stairs, he has all his graduation caps.
All of his years that he's graduated 100 times. Yeah.
So now, and she how many times have you been 17? Now this completely I just don't get it. Now I'm going to go back because we've just seen it. Highlander, what age is he when he gets turned? You're looking probably 24 max
20
when he gets,
something.
20 something. Yeah. He then takes the identity of dead children and then becomes that, the age, whatever. So these kids could be any age. They could just, look, I'm 25. I just
They
look
could be
like a
thousands
17
of
year.
years old.
Yeah. So they could just, but if you're going to nick an identity when it's 200, so they're blatantly taking other people's identity to get, social security and all that. They're going to have to do it through the doctor. Doctor's probably got all that, but he chooses, and they all choose to go back to high school. Hey, got Tumby raid. Hey, Tumby. So it's a bit creepy. So they choose to go back to high school, not to go to college. Okay, that might be a bit more plausible. They go back to high school. So they choose to be 17. All of them do. He is 200 years old.
107. Yeah.
100, whatever it is. And he likes 17-year-olds.
I know, right? Yes.
Yeah, a bit weird because he could be. I'm guessing when he got turned, let's say he was 17. Yeah, let's say that. Okay, you got turned. But you could pull off, look, my ID, everything says I'm 21. Yeah. Why not? Like, nobody's going to argue it because it's a fake certificate because you're hundreds of years old and you've got a doctor that would sign it off as a thing. My plausibility of that was just like, now he's a stalker and he likes high school kids and he's over 100 years old.
It's
like,
really
no,
weird.
Yeah, because he's sparkly vampires. Exactly. But he's knowledge. He's kind of, as you grow up, you have different, like he goes in
classical music.
Yeah. And then so he kind of like, it's a bit, I don't want to say the word for YouTube.
I know the word you're thinking. Yeah,
the word. It is. It's a bit.
It is.
And I was just like, okay, at 25, he should be dating a grandma. Really, that's it, because it's going to be more near his time of thing. But if he was like they were at the end of college, I could get it, that. But the author went, no, we need that teen element. We need to make it 17s, like end of high school. It's just a bit. It makes it more.
It's
creepy.
Not right.
No, it's not
really
right.
creepy.
I
agree.
Creepy. Yeah. So even that, and then of course, and then even when she gets there, like her first indication is, "Ooh, you've not got a bed." Like that, just everything, the interaction between these two going up there, and it's just ain't right. It's just not right. And then of course, and then we get
climby, jumpy. It's just not right either.
What? You liked it last time, didn't you? It's like, what are you doing?
Can we think of exactly? Can we think of anything else to do but jumping tree to tree? Is there any other way that he can show his speed and agility and what have you? Except, nope, let's do it one more time. Let's jump tree to tree.
Yeah, but even when he goes into his they could have done when they go into his you said she likes reading and stuff like that, and he has his novels stacked up, doesn't he? She could have made an interest. Oh, we have the same reading interest, like that. Just give us a connection. They have something, a connection. They have an interest together. But they don't. They just skip over it. I like being a spider monkey. What the flipping heck? But yeah, and then of course
there's no connection other than this primal urge that he has. This the blood attraction that he has to her, the physical attraction she has for him. That's a terrible story.
Yeah,
that's an awful story.
You hear things everybody's had probably, I'm physically attracted to them. It's never gonna last. It doesn't last. It's like that you have to have another. You have to have a mental connection. These it wouldn't last. It wouldn't have last. So it's just and their chemistry is awful. He's like that. Okay.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
This scene, jeez Louise.
And then we get into him. Yeah. the worst thing about this is the false lighting. It's
Yes,
so false lighting.
100%.
It's like we need to make it misty. We make it like foggy, and I guess somebody said, "Oh, do you know when you get that light? It's really shiny, and you can see the dust through the light.
You can see the dust, and you can see his
Yeah,
shadow again.
yeah, and yeah." But this one, and I'm guessing they went, "We need to recreate that on film," and they were like, "You can't recreate that on film. Because you can't see the dust." And
It's
then
real.
we need to make it a bit foggy, a bit misty in the area, and then give this weird backdrop lighting. This one, and it's just like for them, it's just like, oh, we just want to play this song, the song. But yeah, we get onto that, and then of course we get back to James and Victoria. They've been hunting in the woods in the local area, and the police are tracking. Have they found the body at this point? Haven't they? I think they found.
I think they're about to.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they haven't, they're about to.
Yeah, and then we get on, and of course, then
Stay
is
very
this their
still.
first kiss?
Stay
Yeah,
very
was it?
still. Don't move. Don't move.
Yeah, that's what they do. That would have been better.
No, just like I'm queasy. I
Yeah.
just not in a good way queasy, but just in a high levels of acid
Yeah, for the first
reflux kind of issue
this
here.
is their first kiss,
so
and it's just all
terrible.
It's just
Again, if there was
again.
some kind of chemistry between the two of them, and I don't know why my brain went here when I saw this, because I guess I was grasping for any scene in my brain where I would have felt something for the two characters. There was a lovely short film that the amazing Alan Rickman and the wonderful Emma Thompson did many years ago, a short for public television called The Song of Lunch. Look it up. It's based on a poem. And it's about two people who fall in love and fall apart, through time. Like they were, they were, together in youth. And then as they grew older, they grew apart. They married different people. And now they're coming back at late middle age. And in their minds, they're going back to how they fell so in love, and can they get that spark back? And the scenes they show, and it's not them, it's other actors, as young people just falling in love is so wonderfully done. And a lot of it is the poem that it's based on. And I don't know why my brain went to that when I saw this, to think how awful this scene is compared to, a 45-minute short film that was majestically done with a little 5-second view of a young couple's first kiss, told through the mind of some people in their 50s, which I just found, by the way, highly recommend. If you can find it, it's called The Song of Lunch. The narrator's reading a poem about young love and two people finding each other again. And it's acted by Emma Thompson and Alan Rickman right before his passing, sadly. Anyway, such a better portrayal than this overdrawn, and it's such a long scene. Maybe they thought that was good to build that tension. There's no tension here. It's like, oh, this is awful. They don't want to be here. Jay, I don't know if you have a different or if anyone has a different thought on that, but
this is a terrible scene. I couldn't agree more. Could have removed the whole thing from the movie for me.
Yeah, there's just literally let him have to pull away, because he knows if this is it, he's all in, and he needs to be away from human contact. It's just it's one of those okay, you kissed, well done, move on, and we like that, and he kind of gets freaked out. Probably again, it's terrible. It just need to go away.
Now they've changed the lighting. Oh,
yeah.
Is that on the nose? Gee, we could have suspected they're changing the lighting. They're changing how they look, because now they have this connection. Whatever.
Yeah, it's all warm now, and except for when we get, and you're the baseball fans. We get now. He invites her to. There's a thunderstorm.
My family plays baseball. This is what we do. Okay.
I'm guessing because it was like they were like, oh, it's the American pastime and they're American.
Shut up.
I don't.
Shut up.
I don't get it. I don't
it's
get it.
It's incredibly random. I actually couldn't remember which movie this baseball scene was in. So the whole time with my wife, I'm like, is this the one? Is the scene coming up? Is this the baseball one? And she kept thinking it was actually the second one. So when it showed up here, we were again having some fun with the movie.
I like how they purposely put them into kind of old style uniform.
Yeah, the hats and all that.
So coincidentally,
I actually don't hate that detail, to be honest with you. Like equipment they would have held on to for nostalgia, maybe. Like,
from exactly the same year, by the way, from 1918.
Right, 1918. So I don't hate that detail. It just does come off cheesy with the rest of the
Yeah, so yeah, they do. Yeah, it's it's
not
baseball.
A bad wind up for a pitch.
Yeah.
She's all right. Yeah, I like her move there.
Now I think it's like because they're so fast and they're doing this. Okay, I get that they're fast. You know what? That it's like the Flash. He had to invent new clothing because if he because it was shred.
Yeah.
You know, like that, because if they're that fast,
physics don't matter in this world, Stasis.
No. Yeah, I know. I try not. It's just like no.
Few things matter. Physics definitely aren't one of them.
Yeah, like I'm not on the ball going that fast. The baseball bat, it would just explode, wouldn't it? Really, like that. Like
Again, physics, stupid. Nah, no big deal here.
I don't have to use my brain.
There's thunder to cover the sound of the home run, so that's all the science they needed.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, this is another baseball movie. You're right. We get baseball in another film. Good job.
Could you class this as a sports movie?
This is horrendous.
But then, so we know we've got the Victoria and James, and then out of the fog machine, because it's a fog machine, it's really bad. We get them kind of eyeing up, and then dramatic entrance from Levy Kravitz. Literally.
Oh, I was going to say the sea snake. Yeah, the sea snake.
Okay. Either way,
Game of Thrones.
This entrance is so like, who thought this was good? It's like that's dramatic. That's the danger moment. Like it's so cheesy. It's literally it's you get cheesy, fun, cheesy, good, cheesy, funny. This is just that's bad.
It's literally cheesy bad.
Yeah, you're just like, so they come on open shirts because
it's definitely cheesy bad. But I will say, I think, and this might be something because of just like the way it hit me when I was growing up, like in the perfect kind of time for it. It's cheesy bad, but looking back on it and how bad it was, and thinking back like how big of a thing it was, it honestly makes me laugh. So I can have the cheesy laugh with it. So it's almost like a little bit of a different perspective just based on when we watched it. Being part of that, or not, I don't want to say part of it, but being a teenager in this phenomenon, if it made it to that level, this massive thing that was at the very least. It's just funny to look back and be like, wow, everybody really freaked out over this movie. Like, it's so bad. So I still get kind of a cheesy laugh out of it. It is cheesy awful, though.
It is cheesy awful. Now, interestingly enough, these three actors have not, the two male actors really haven't been in anything else. Nothing else. The female actor, the only one I can see here that looks, then she was in Law and Order on television. So these three actors went nowhere. Like, nowhere. Interesting enough.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for the most part, no one else really did either that I can think of from these movies.
If you look
at Taylor
Kendrick.
Lautner, he didn't do much. Yeah, Anna Kendrick, that's one.
The whole family.
Taylor Lautner. What else did he do? I mean, he was the big. It was Jason.
They tried to give him a Hollywood push. I think it just never really did much. I don't think he got much accomplished with it.
Oh, such bad performances.
Yeah, so if people are like, no, why would you want? But they're
nothing. Nope, he's been in nothing. Holy moly.
Jasper actually, this is a fun fact. If you were unfortunate enough to have watched M. Night Shyamalan's Airbender movie, Jasper actually played Sokka in that movie. So that was one thing he did after that. Other than that,
I
can't think
forgettable
of much.
movie.
Now I have to look up Ashley because Alice, because I do think Ashley Greene. I do think she was in yeah, she's been in some like sort of B movies.
Yeah,
like Deck the
HBO.
Walls and not many. Oh, it's just that's what they get for such poor performances. Seriously.
Yeah. Now I get that. Was it James on this bit? Like James is like the new blood, and they like every turned vampire. They have when they're young, and they go into the later movies. Is they get like they're overpowerful. They're weak, but they're overpowerful.
They can't control their urges.
They can't. Yeah. And then he zones on to Bella, and he's obsessed. It's just too forced for me.
Like,
it's just
why didn't they run her out of? I do not understand.
Yeah.
Why didn't they run her out of there as soon as humanly possible? And I know they're trying to like cover her scent. Run her out of there as soon as humanly possible. Like,
they can sense bump go down.
Yeah.
What's going on?
But also, like, to me, I look at this scene and it's funny because leading up to it, I'm like, couldn't remember if this was the movie that had the baseball scene or not. And when I finally realized it was, I then realized that like they made up this entire ridiculous baseball game just to get these guys to meet essentially the bad vampires in the movie. What a bizarre way to try to get that point across, or like to keep the story, trying to keep the story moving to get to that point. I don't understand the need for this baseball game. I don't understand why or how this is really the way these two, the good guys and the bad guys, meet in this movie. It makes very little sense to me. It seemed like a random scene in my memory, and coming back to realize that it not only was like a random scene, but it was a massive point in telling the story is just, again, laughable writing to me. It's so bad.
It's like the writer had a beginning bit and then behind.
And like, how do I get there? How am I going to get things there? And you came up with,
it's Disney.
We're going to play baseball in a thunderstorm. Like, what?
It is Disney. It's the way Disney writes.
Yeah,
it is the way they're like, oh, we've got that end scene, the end big bit. But how does that become like in this bit? Like, how does Bella become in danger? Okay, we need another group. Okay, but how does that group meet up? And then they just go,
right. Well, they do this, and then they do that, and then they do this.
Yeah. Just connect. Like, there's no connective tissue. Let's say that to things. It's just A to B. A to B, right. A to B. There's nothing like. There's no. It's not woven into the story of time. Like this one. Like there's like we say. There could be a story here. In this movie, there is no plot.
No.
There's no plot behind it. There's just like get to that bit, get to that bit, get to that bit. But like the story, it could be interesting. But the plot, there's no plot. There's like that because it just bumbles. Oh, we're seeing it. Oh, new. Oh, that's new. Oh, that gets to that bit. So yeah, it's just because it did. That's it. You don't have to think. And like, unfortunately, with this movie, people overanalyze it. This is a lot of like people with the fans, we're not going to dish them. Headcanon. It's you're filling in the gaps to make it better movie than it is.
Yeah,
or better
you have
than
to.
it is. Right. Yeah. So, but
in fairness, I don't think they made it to try to be something better than what they made it. You know what I mean? No. So it just, credit to them. They made something, and they made a ton of money off of it.
Yeah, bloody well. Yeah, I'd be. Yeah, if I could write that.
We're gonna talk about the ton of money that they made here.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we just get we get James now. He's stalking Bella, and then of course now we've got they need to get Bella away. So I can't remember where they take her. They take her to a couple of
Phoenix.
Hotels.
They go to Phoenix in the matter of minutes. I don't get it. It makes no sense.
Stupidest place to take her. Yeah, take her to a place that, quote, smells like her because she's lived there most of her life. What the actual F? That makes no sense. Oh, we're driving south from Northwest Washington State to Seattle. Yeah, we're driving south and we're just going to hit Phoenix in 3.5 days. Yeah, 3.5 days.
Let's go to Disney World first, I say. Yeah. Disneyland, sorry.
Well, Vegas. You've hit Vegas. Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, it's the things. But again, so they go, this is where they go, probably they go back, and then I don't even know the guy's name.
His name is Laurent, and he's thousands of years old, and he's tired of the game, so he's gonna tell them what the hunter's going to do.
Yeah. So again, we kind of get now. Yeah, they're all pissed off. They're kind of things, but like they're trying to track them down. You know, great facial expressions again from Pattinson.
They're trying to create a diversion.
Yeah,
send him in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Whilst then Bella is
moping,
and then she gets a call from her mum, or what is it? A text message. I can't remember what it was. That like kind of outs her to get to the place. I can't remember now.
Well, is it before Alice has a vision? When they're sitting in a hotel, Alice has a vision that she sees Bella in a room with mirrors. Bella used to be a ballerina. So who knows how that happened, by the way, that she was a ballerina. And now she's thinking about her ballet studio. Then James has tracked down her mom from her school, grade school records. How? Don't know. But
yeah, again, this whole bit is to get to that A bit, to get to A to B, and then she goes back, and then goes into an abandonment. Well, it's not abandoned, is it? It's like that. I can't remember.
It's a dance studio. It's just at night.
I think it's just closed. Yeah.
I
think it's
it's not even closed
for a while now after this scene. But
it's like, what? You don't have locks.
I mean, I'd like to think a vampire can get through some locks. So fair enough.
Bella.
Well, maybe he left the doors unlocked to
maybe.
in.
Okay.
You know, I just thought of something that I didn't even think of.
They probably didn't even think of that.
Maybe the two of you thought about this. They sent vampires into a room that's all mirrors. Did anyone I didn't even notice. Did they see reflections or no? Because I didn't even notice.
I think he uses a reflection to kind of scare her. I could be wrong. I'd have to watch it again, and I don't think I'm going to.
Really?
At least that scene, but I do think he uses her reflection in a mirror to kind of scare her or something. I could be wrong though.
Nah. But yeah, so
maybe I'll YouTube just that scene, so I don't have to put myself even through fast forward.
I'm just googling it now. In Twilight, did the vampires?
I think he might have used the reflection. So shadow and reflection. Is shadow a vampire rule? Do vampires not cast shadow?
They don't cast.
No.
Yes, and they do have reflections in mirrors. So they did have reflections. This is a departure from traditional vampire lore.
Yeah. If the diamond skin didn't give it away, this certainly does.
In the Twilight universe, Google explains. In the Twilight universe, vampires not only have reflections, but also cast shadows. They can be seen in photographs, and they are not harmed by sunlight, garlic, or holy objects. Okay. So they broke all the rules.
There you go. So again, what's the point of vampire?
Yeah.
Could have literally just been immortals.
Yeah, exactly, because we're going into this later, but yeah, so James is there. He's gone like things. He starts to beat up Bella, and I'm not being why he's so powerful.
Yeah, why don't you just eat her? Like, do the thing, bite her, be done with her.
That's the thing. He's not playing like he's literally playing with his food. This point, literally, he's got this blood lusty. He's obsessed with this. I need this person blood. It's silly. And then of course, as by the time he kind of starts to beat her up, yay!
Of course he does. Of course he shows up. Of course.
Yeah. And so they get that, and of course they have a fight off. He gets down to Bella, bites her on the wrist, whilst everybody else then he gets things. All the Collins all turn up, but I forgot the guy's name because I don't care. Carlisle, kind of get, look, Bella, like whatever. Whilst Bella is, this is some of the worst acting ever.
Yep.
Ever in one little scene. So she's supposed to be
all of them. All of them are acting poorly in this scene.
But Herb is terrible. So I'm guessing her blood has been poisoned, so she's turning. Let's say that. Oh, and then of course they get things. We get Alice then goes to decapitate James.
Yeah, she takes care of him, boy. Wow.
Yeah. And I always think, why would you do that? I understand it because of Bella, but it would cause a problem because So
it feels very out of place for the tone of this movie. Like if this was a different vampire movie we were talking about, I'm like, okay, I can understand. Like even like the fire and like they kind of dance around the fire too. It's pretty like, it's pretty out of place in terms of the tone they chose to go with these vampires. Like you just mentioned, like they broke all the other rules of vampires, but almost as if to keep it a little bit more of a sanitized concept to fit in with a teenage drama thing that they were going for. But then out of nowhere, they just take this left turn into like, all right, there goes this guy, there goes the fire. It just felt very random.
But I think it's because they said he would never stop.
Well, yeah, I definitely get the concept. And again, if that was placed in another vampire movie that kept that tone throughout it, where like this is vampire hunting and this is how you get rid of vampires, it would have made more sense.
Once they get their target,
this movie just seems to want to tone down what vampires are in general, so that it fits the teenage, drama demographic that they might have been going for. And then randomly it just jumps back into, but this part we're going to keep about how you get rid of vampires. Is like, oh, damn, okay. I kind of totally forgot that they did that in this movie.
But and so what a stupid, but you have to then give her your blood, like bite her to keep her alive. Kind of in a way.
I think he's sucking out the poison.
Yeah, like a snake.
Sucking out like that.
Suck out the venom. I think they actually call it venom.
Yeah, and then so he's kind of in liking it at the same time. They have a little bit of flashback of him glittery, what they had previously. And then stupidity. And then she's in hospital. He's there, he's been waiting there.
The whole time. He's been there
sleeping, but
and then her mum turns up. So I'm sure your dad would have rushed down because it only takes like 30 minutes to get to Phoenix.
I don't know what teleporter he didn't get to use, but he's going to take the long way down.
No, but you've been looking after your daughter. Your daughter's ran off, kind of in a way.
I'm sorry. There was something I actually wanted to touch on, and it might have been while I had to step away. Did you guys talk about how she and Edward like run off to get away from these guys?
No,
how she's incredibly rude to her father.
Yeah.
She's breaking up with him, and that what was that about?
It was crazy. All she had to say was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go stay at the Anna Kendrick's character's house for the weekend." Like, she goes and like just completely flips out on him. Wants to leave because of like reasons she won't really say, but is alluding to a breakup with Edward. But then she just starts going for these like wicked, hurtful, deep cuts towards towards her father, to the point where she's like, "Oh yeah, I said the same thing my mother said when she left." It's like, dude, you did not have to go that intense. Like all you had to say was, I'm going to go stay at, friend's house for the weekend or a couple nights. We're studying or getting ready for prom. Like anything. It was such a crazy thing to do for no reason. And it just made her character that much more unlikable.
It was supposed to be to protect him. So
James,
how did that protect him in any way, shape,
now he's just going to be nervous and wicked hurt that you just destroyed him.
Take him with you. You're there to save him. Right? That's the only thing you can do is take him with you.
But in her mind,
it made no sense. It made someone in chat explain.
In her mind, hurting her father's feelings as hard as she could would somehow lead to him not being concerned about her still. Like that is a crazy thought. Of course, he's still going to be concerned about you running out the door after screaming at your boyfriend and wanting to drive back to Phoenix in the middle of the night again, as if this is like 2 towns over. This is a far drive. That's crazy.
But how cool?
Any less nervous about it just because you were mean to him? He's just going to be hurt.
How cool would this have been in the like go things like she comes like that and he realizes the dad? It goes, it's because he's a vampire. And then the dad reveals he always knew, and he's there because he is the human protector to keep the
watcher.
Vampires. Yes, the watcher, and he's
the
there.
watcher. I like the
and
watcher
I know.
Stories.
See, that's actually kind of interesting.
And that would have been it would have been straight away. Oh, he's always known. He's sat there, and that's why he's so far away from her. That's why he's in that place, because he has to keep him in check. And there's always one. Thing, and it would have made it would have made more sense, and it would have made sense than all the sheriffs over in America. There's a possibility they're all watchers, even though like that it'd been clever. It would have been clever. It would have been clever because it would have been simple. But it goes, I know, don't worry.
And you have the scene in the diner when they the scene in the diner when they're asking him for information to what happened to their friend who was obviously, gotten by the vampires. He kind of gives them a little bit of information to just pacify them and try to get things to cool down. But you can tell he doesn't know. He doesn't think that that's the, total end result. It's just the, they went east. It's the next sheriff's problem now. Or not problem, but, jurisdiction. And that would be an interesting concept if the next sheriff was another Watcher or something. That's there you go.
Because
I wish Stephanie Meyer didn't think
I used my brain for 2 minutes there and came up with that shit. Like, that's the problem. It was just like that. But they didn't like, the writer just didn't relate to. There are concepts out of this. Like if you go by like Buffy, we just said Watchers. So we got like Giles in that.
Giles.
Interesting character. Like the backstories between like that, or the the instigators of like that. If you go for other like vampire series or movies, the people who know, not the people who do, the people who know sometimes got the interesting backstory, and that's what they've just missed on this. They've just gone, no, it's supposed to be romantic, but we're not going to have a romantic movie. Not having this is classed as, I suppose, what, a fantasy vampire teen romance.
Yeah,
and it's not.
For
none
old
of it's there.
ladies too.
None of it's there, and that's the problem. But
and I will say, in fairness to the author, and I guess the people making the movie as well, we are as individuals, and I know a lot of people in chat, we're all nerds, so we like things with a lot of lore and background and all that kind of stuff. So fair enough if this was never intended to be that, as kind of a romance novel genre, which I don't think are ever really truly that in depth in lore as much as they are just romance itself. So I get it, and fair enough. But I do think there's a way you could have just made it a little bit better if you took some more care to write
it interesting.
Better, like write a better story. You could have done. I'm not saying you had to have Lord of the Rings type of lore, and none of us are. So I just credit to the genre that it's in, and I get it, and obviously it was successful. But yeah, it would have been nice from our perspective, at least, I think, if some of those things were just fleshed out or more creative or more just sensible, because a lot of it is just nonsense.
Sensible is a good word.
But don't worry, because we're coming to the end of the movie finally. And then we get prom day. Do they call it prom? Do they actually say it's prom?
I think it's prom.
Yeah, they say it's prom. So so we get Edward turns up to see Bella. She's got a cast on. So again, what a great face. Just like, hi, be excited. Literally, look what's happened to you. You survived, and you're going apparently to the prom, the man of your dreams. And then of course they go to the prom. Awkwardness outside, and then we get Jacob now let down his hair. Nice.
Just hanging out behind a tree.
Yeah.
nothing out of the ordinary.
He's had a wee, didn't he? He had a wee. That was it.
Yeah, that would, I guess, make more sense, honestly.
Yeah. It would have been funny if somebody does that scene and then you just say the pissing on the floor in the background whilst they're having a conversation. And he's like, hi. Oh, AI. Somebody doing that in AI. He just turns up and zips up AI. But then, it's just now. It's this bit there's a lot of this movie is for a second movie for the people who's already read the second book, that nobody who hasn't read the book doesn't know what the hell's going on. Like this, why is he there? There is no point to him being there, because they need it because of the setup for the second movie. What's in the book, people who love the series already has read. Yeah, so it's
fair enough. That's similar to comic book movies and things like that. Where, if you know what the references are. If you don't, you'll see in the next one.
That's it. Yeah, like what's that? Yeah, it's like oh, cameo. Who's that person? Right. And then you have to explain it to somebody. Like, oh no, that was in.
Which is also the very, very end scene too.
Yeah,
with Victoria going down the stairs chuckling.
Yeah.
So that must be set up for the next film, which I have not seen, will not see, never will see.
Don't.
Oh, was this the only one you ever had to see?
Yeah, I've never seen the other ones. I've never.
Lucky you. Yeah, nope. It doesn't go anywhere better.
No, I can argue it just gets worse, honestly.
Yeah. And then so they're the things, and then
I worry about my mom. She likes
they have they have a lot their little dance. Of course, it's supposed to be romantic, and it's
not.
Yeah, it's literally.
No,
I get
that is
what
true.
they like. Oh, okay, we're gonna make it like they're on their own. Where is everybody else? You need to make it really late. And make it really romantic. That all it is. Again, we got a romantic song, so that will do it. In the background, their dialogue is awful, and then of course, it just ends in a really shit way. It just does romance to Victoria, like she's been watching them, turns around, and then they go into this. I don't like the ending. Like not just this bit, is how it goes into that weird slow-mo, and it goes all like that, like they do it in all the movies after this. They have that same, they have that tone of like everything slow down, and then we're back introduce everybody in like who's been in the movie in this like slow-mo grave scenario.
I didn't even notice it. I think I turned it off immediately.
Turned it off.
Yeah, I didn't get that far.
Second of my attention.
Yeah. So and end the movie. Yes.
Thank God.
End the movie. Yep. So I'm glad I did this as my pick.
It fit the category. So
it fit the category of absolutely.
This is
now
film.
you're lucky because it gets really bad. It does get like this is bad, and then it goes. Oh, okay, that might be. It goes.
Keep in mind,
okay.
I still have my pick for that category too. So don't be too lucky yet.
It's not.
I can still pick it. I can still pick it.
Hate people with it's don't torture people you hate with. It's
Okay, you're welcome.
It fit the category.
Thank you.
She reminded me. I'm a Star Wars.
Did we talk about?
I could have made you watch The Last Jedi. I could have made you watch The Last Jedi.
I honestly would. I enjoyed watching this more than I would have that. I can 100% say that because I'm able to laugh at this one for what it is.
Yeah, that's what like Jade. Sorry, Jade was right. She was like, if you pick that, you hate that movie because it destroyed a franchise. You hate this movie because it's stupid.
Right.
And I was
100%.
like, yeah. And I went, that's why. And they went, you're spot on. So that's it. Yeah. Sorry, Sandy, we have some great information. Maybe it's better than the movie. Go.
A few interesting, not on this slide, really interesting tidbits, but we already mentioned all this. The film came out in 2008. It was based on the book in 2005 by Stephanie Meyer. We've already talked about her writing skills. Interestingly enough, there is a real town called Forks, Washington, but it was not filmed there. It was filmed a couple hundred miles south in St. Helens, Oregon. Same dreary, rainy climate. It was also filmed in British Columbia, in Canada. But Stephanie Meyer said that town was the one of the inspirations for the film. So, I don't have the backstory as to why it wasn't used. But when I did see some photos of the town online, it looked very much like what was filmed. So, little small towns in the Northwest. I don't want to say they all look the same, but there are some common characteristics, mostly around
Sandy,
the weather.
You said Oregon.
Yeah, it was filmed in Oregon.
Wasn't Goonies in Oregon?
Oh, I think it was. Yes, it was.
A connection. There we go. Little connection.
There we've got a Goonies. So in addition to our Pepsi product placement, again, we have a Goonies connection. So let's talk about the money this film made. And I have 3 pages of notes. I will not read them all, but I do want to hit on a couple of things here. So the film, as you could tell, was cheaply made. This was a $37 million film in 2008. That's a cheap film. That comes to just 56.4 million today. It made 402 million at the box office, more than 10 times its budget. But in 2008, even though that was a stellar return for 2008, boy, did we have some good films in 2008. We had The Dark Knight and we had Iron Man in 2008. So it was kind of a little bit of a good year. There were some good films there at the top.
I actually don't hate that Hancock movie, the Will Smith one.
I've not seen it.
I didn't mind it. I actually kind of liked it.
It's watchable.
Yeah, it's nothing great. It's definitely
Yeah.
nothing great. It's
Yeah.
nowhere like ranking in the Rushmore of superhero movies, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I also was a big fan of Will Smith as an actor.
Yeah,
I think he's a phenomenal actor.
I do. I know Sandy is hit or miss with this one. I like Wally.
I've never seen Wally, and it's funny because
I think he's a whiner.
I was just going through the
Wally.
TV channels the other day, and it was on, and I said to my wife, "I'm like, I've never seen this, but everybody loves it, and I've yet to ever watch Wally. I'll have to watch it someday."
It was that, and what was it? Up, or was that the year after? Wasn't it? That was
Up was not
close,
this year.
It
was a different year, but but just out of the top 5 in number 6 was a favorite of my kids, Kung Fu Panda. My kids,
I liked Kung Fu Panda.
Love Kung Fu Panda. So that was number 6. And then Twilight was number 8. Quantum of Solace, oh my Lord, made it to number 9. Goodness knows how that wrecked. And I'm not even going to acknowledge the number 3 on this list. I'm not even going to say it or mention it because this film does not exist. In 2023, Stephanie Meyer stated that 2 more books are in development, and they are in development. The books have not been produced yet. They follow on with the next generation, allegedly, of these vampires. And
I'm hoping she put it through AI. That's got to be better.
Who would know the difference, though?
Just be honest.
You have a much better floor.
Would it be better?
This is good dialogue. Just like rip off these books. Give me a sequel and make the dialogue better. That is a prompt. It's got to be better. It has to be better.
It has to be better. Now, just one more comment that I don't have on this chart, but I want to talk through just a little bit because this is a franchise. So, we talk about how much money this film made, which we just described. The entire franchise of Twilight has brought in, let me find it, $3.3 billion. It consists of 5 films, and when you divide, so what I did, I took a chart from Box Office Mojo and I took all the franchises that they've listed, the top to bottom. Now, here's the thing that they did, which I don't think is correct. They didn't neutralize for the number of films in the franchise. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which they consider to have 43 films, obviously came on top because the next one is the James Bond series, which had 27 films. So like, okay, so how can we neutralize for numbers of films? So what I did was I took the total worldwide box office adjusted for inflation and divided it by the number of films, and I reordered the franchises, and many of them are still in the same place as they were before, except the Marvel one did fall down. The number 1 franchise of all time is still by far Bambi, because Bambi had a sequel. Bambi's the number 1 earning film of all time. It had 1 sequel, and its per film legacy is $1.6 billion per film.
Wow.
The next is the Avengers franchise with 6 films that is $1.2 billion. Number 3 is Jurassic Park. Number 4 is Pirates of the Caribbean. Then the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Spider-Man, and then Twilight. And then the Lord of the Rings. So the top 10, Twilight is the number 9 all-time franchise when you look at the total box office, adjust for inflation, and divide by the number of films. So Twilight ends up with $662 million per film. It's a banker, as they say. Some other franchises that didn't make to the top 10.
You pronounce that wrong. It's got a W at the start, not a B.
We don't use that word here. Some other ones that didn't make the top 10 were the Fast and Furious.
They're always killer now, aren't they?
It was
like
number
always make
12. The Indiana Jones, you know what? Those last few really hurt.
They killed it. Yeah.
The last few hurt it. The Indiana Jones is like number 17. Rocky is number around 22. Batman is number 20.
Really?
Superman, Star Trek kind of fall off at the bottom there. But yeah, so Toy Story is number 17. So if she writes 2 more, yeah, they have a fan base.
That's all it is.
They probably maybe feel like they have a new fan base, right? Because these films were released almost 20 years. The first film was released almost 20 years ago, 17 years ago. So they might feel like they have a new crop of teenies. And let me also say this: we started to talk about this off camera, off stream, but I think it is worth talking about some of the thematic stuff here. They may have a different audience going forward, not just teen girls. They may have teen boys. They may have teens of all different diverse gender identities.
Oh, they could do, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I can see what you're going for this.
I
Yeah,
think that would be an angle. I also think, although I think it's despicable in the books, I think she really latched on to the. Interestingly enough, like one would step back and think, well, you see the films, the tension between Bella and Edward and between vampire and woman is more sexual tension. But the books play up the addiction angle, and I hate it because, as I mentioned before, the references to heroin, the references to alcoholism and uncontrolled addiction, I think are done so clumsily and sloppily. In the book, I didn't feel like it was sexual tension and denial at all. I felt like they played up the addiction angle in a horrible way compared to The Lord of the Rings, which I am, thank God, back to reading, where Gollum is an allegory for addiction, handled in a wonderful way, in a really deep and meaningful way, versus the throwaway references in this piece of trash that I just suffered through. So there will be more. There won't be that there will be more.
I guarantee you won't be buying those books.
I won't be. Do not. It better not show up on the Wheel of Film in any way, shape, or form.
God. No, but like, if I go by, like you'd say, like how bad, like this is portrayed, like the novel and all that, how the acting is, because I'm guessing in the author's head, the vampires have lost like a little bit of feeling, they've kind of think. I think she's got a little bit of what a vampire is, but how she's done it and how they directed it is bad. And I'm going to go by that because I'm guessing both of you've seen Interview with a Vampire.
I have not, actually. No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's interesting. I mean, not my fave, but it's
not my favorite.
Well done. I think it's well done.
Louis.
Yeah.
Louis, and when he first meets, I can't remember Christian Slater's name.
I don't remember the names or anything.
But like when he first turns up, he goes, sorry, Jay, like it's not a spoiler, but he goes for an interview with a human, and he's like, but he does it with this really dry, monotone voice of like, I was once a vampire. I was once part of a plantation many moons ago. And his voice is really like one tone. But Brad Pitt, how he does it is interesting. He does it a very dry, very like, I've got no emotions. He's like that. But how that, like, because there's a delay in his dialogue and he's actually speaking to somebody like a human being.
It's gravitas. He's got the gravitas.
Yeah, and that's it, like that. But this is because it's such a weird dialogue and they don't know how to deliver the bad dialogue. You kind of, was it the actor's fault? Mostly because they can't. Can we do that? But also the author and the director.
It's the author.
Like, the author was like not realizing. Look, people can't deliver it. But then give it some pause action, or were they direct? That's what I'm saying. Like you need to know that, and I think we said it. You need to know at one point the director went, no, you just need to deliver the line as one. That's what they want. You can't kind of pause, have a think. Have an emotional connection of what you're doing. Whereas Louis in that, even though he's very one tone, he's delivering it as this is in. I want to know every word he's saying. That's like, there's that bit into it, and that's what I'm saying. Like with this, there is no romance. There's no romance. If you
None.
go by even if you don't read a vampire or Bram Stoker, okay, the Gary Oldman version, like even though Christian's
Keanu Reeves and
Keanu Reeves is
Minnie
awful in it.
Driver. Yeah, it's terrible, but
but at least like the romance bit in it makes sense because he's obsessed. He's obsessed with
over centuries.
what's it? Minnie, no. What's the name? Minnie, no.
Driver.
No, not Minnie Driver. That's she's not in it. It's
what's her name? Why am I thinking Minnie Driver?
No, sorry, gives me a name. Mina.
Mina, the character,
Mina. Like he believes he's known her for centuries. He's like, you're something in my history. You're in my past. So he gets obsessed. That is why that obsession is there. So there's actually a story to it. So he gets obsessed. But how then calls the delivery Gary
Winona Ryder. Why am I saying Minnie Driver? It's Winona Ryder. I don't know. Winona Minnie. I don't know what I've done there.
But that whole delivery of you got a superb actor, Gary Oldman, delivering it, but then you've got the kind of that connection. It doesn't seem weird. Yeah, they're different ages apart. Even when Gary Oldman, Dracula, he's blatantly still in his 40s. She's in his early 20s. It doesn't seem it's weird. She's confused. He's confused of why this connection still happening. It's great. It's a great, a romantic, unromantic, unwanted romance story, and turns into a romance story in the background of it, and it's greatly told. Other vampire ones have got that, that lust for life. Even if you go for Dorian Gray, I'm going to go down things like that. I want to be loved, but I've got to pass that. I don't understand what it even means anymore. This. And I think Jay, I think he was offline. It's a bit perverted. And I think that's it. And I think that connection of him being 107 years old.
Oh yeah, that is crazy. That's a crazy concept that I don't know how it was overlooked in the writing of this book.
Yeah. And I like that. And it's just from I said, this, why I picked it, because just everything about this is bad. You've got the acting's bad. The cinematography is bad. The directing is absolutely dismal. Was the director the same as the next one? I think it's called New Moon.
Catherine Hardwicke is the director. Let me see if she's the same one, because
I'm guessing not. I'm guessing they picked and chose who it was.
I mean, the entire literally the entire and this is probably going to sound awful. Seriously, it's going to sound awful, but it was a girl power production and writing crew. In addition to the writer of the book, Stephanie Meyer, there was another screenwriter, Melissa Rosenberg, and then the director was Catherine Hardwicke. So no, Do
you know what? If I thought I was going to write a romance novel or whatever, a romance thing, and I was like, my best team, I got the best team out, and they were all men, I'd be like, you know what? I need a woman, because women will be able to tell you we don't act like that. We don't like what men think are different to what women think.
Yeah.
And the other thing. Men will go, nobody would do that. No man would do that in the common sense like that. It's just like that. And maybe that's the downfall.
She didn't. No, she didn't. She didn't direct any other ones.
I can't believe, I'm guessing Stephanie Meyer's, there's got to be somebody a husband or whatever, or a cousin, a production, when she first spotted it, were a man must have read that and gone, you know what? We don't talk like that, because everything Edward does is just a bit weird. It's just that he makes himself come a bit I said, creepy, stalkerish. So that when he start opening his mouth, he just it forgets itself to be. Oh, you can forget the vampires because they're not really vampires. They're they take themselves out of romance to just being a weird, unrelatable high school movie without the high school, because the high school bit you don't get a lot of.
He seems more like an alien from another planet trying to blend in with humans than he does a vampire who's lived around humans for centuries It's the weirdest way he could have chose, or not he could have chose.
My God,
Malcolm and Mindy to write the story and do that.
Malcolm and Mindy have got more romance than this one.
Do you know what I thought? So I thought at the very last scene while they're dancing at the prom, I thought, you know what has more romance in a prom dance scene? I don't know if you've seen it, James. Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yes, yeah.
It tells a better story for sure.
Easy, stupid film that it might be my guilty pleasure.
If that would be a great pick.
Cute little romance, and it's much more romantic at the end than this. And all I could think of was Napoleon Dynamite, and it's also a better awkward teen movie.
Oh, what's that? Sorry, there's another.
They actually play it like awkward teens.
Yeah, but there's an awkward teen one. Johnny Depp's in it, and I can't remember. And he plays an autistic kind of over the top, and he does like he thinks he's Charlie Chaplin.
Gilbert Grape.
What's
eating?
Who's Leo?
Oh no, that's not. Wait, that's not.
No, that's Johnny Depp and Leo. Who's eating? Gilbert Grape?
Is it Leo's in it as well?
No, it's what's his name? It's hang on, now I gotta look at this one again.
It's definitely Johnny Depp because he thinks he's Charlie Chaplin. Or no, or Buster Keaton. He thinks he's Buster Keaton. Or I can't remember. Oh, there we go. Look.
It is.
Well done. Ta-da! Benny and June.
Oh, Benny and June. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is two people who are a bit awkward, a bit weird, and it turns into romance. But they're always weird in the movie, and they make sense because they're both. I'm going to sound really bad. They're both the same spectrum. Let's say that. But this one, they just don't have any connection. They just don't have any interest. They don't have nobody's tried to over romance somebody. Nobody's fighting for each other. We're just going to be like that and thinking, ugh. Like now and again, it is terrible. But yeah. But before we get onto the scores of the doors, I want to go and I really want to have a go at a couple of things. All right. The scores were 2-0 for the chat. 75% of people said it was that. 4-3, 17% people. 7-5, 0%.
And Highlander snuck in.
Somebody snuck in and I'm guessing that one or two people. 8%, 10-8. Maybe we had, if you're a fan of it,
a couple fans stopped by.
I don't know.
I'm sure they didn't stay long if they were giving
I'm going to be having a word with a girlfriend. I don't know if it's. But I'm going to end it here. But yeah, 2-0. Okay, we'll take that things. But also, whilst that happened, we just did that poll because it's more interesting now because we got it. Because I think Jay, you're number 10 at the moment. Now it's weird because I don't know because Reckless Wolf might not be counted because they're a brand. They're classed as a brand, so not on the list. So we got Abel, 1,200 XP at number one.
Wow.
Sandy, number 2 at 725. We have a number 3. It's Abe with 300. Then Viper at, I'm just going to score. Viper gone down to 4th. Daryl 5th. The nerd, Neurotical Nerd, is 6. Davey Verse, 7. Galadorn, 8. Steve whacked in there at 9. Jay, you got 10 at the moment.
Hey, top 10, I'll take it.
And then Tomby, I think, only commented once or twice. He's number 11. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know. Get it. So anyway. But
that's cool. I like that feature.
So in future, please do post your notification screen 3 or 4 days, even 5 days early, so we can start this early again.
But no, we've not finished yet, so we've got to, we've still got things. I'm guessing Sandy and Abel might not change unless somebody below 4 overtakes Abe by super chatting. That is the only way I can do it.
Way to do it.
Or does ABCD for a little while, but that is it. But yeah, a little bit of fun. I think that is for everyone whilst we do these. Just any live, I think that's a little
that is a cool little feature. I like that.
No, yeah, but
I'm highly competitive. This is
it does.
It's
it just seems fun.
It does. Ooh, who's number 1? Anyway, before we end it and we find out if Abel is going to be, let's Competitive, Sandy.
I'm testing to see how many points that gives me. Nope, I still can't reach. So that gives you 100.
Maybe it takes time to get in there.
You do get 100 points for super chat. So just letting everyone know, if you're really competitive, that's the way
scoring
to do
system.
There you go. But yeah, who wants to go first then? Who wants to drown their sorrows?
I'll go because I probably have the lightest
the
review of this movie. So, all right. I mean, it's obviously a bad movie. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. It's a really, really bad movie from just about every aspect I can think of. And a lot of it does sound like it comes from the book initially, because obviously that's not, I don't want to say obviously because I didn't read it, but trusting Sandy's opinion on it, I would say by that, it's clearly not a well-written book. So it's not too surprising the movie didn't end up any better. But, there's things that I think could have been avoided that, typically I would be more harsh on. But for some reason, this movie just gives me a good laugh. Like the bad CGI of him climbing the trees or effects, whatever it was, of him climbing the trees and running at super speed. Things like that I would typically take points off of and be a little bit more painful of a watch to get through. I think the nostalgia factor for this one keeps this a little bit more fun of a watch for me. I really laughed at all that stuff this time. I couldn't say I ignored it. Yeah, that's the thing is I kind of did in a way, and so I can't say I ignored it because I know just last week with Highlander I was saying there's too many things for me to avoid and overlook and just say don't worry about it in this movie, because fundamentally it is truly awful. So I'm not even going to begin to go into the ways that it is, because I think we just fleshed that out pretty well throughout the show. But acting, direction, just everything, cameras, all that kind of stuff. Still an enjoyable watch in terms of having a good laugh at it. I think I, again, had that nostalgia from being the right age when this was super popular. I think I was about 16, 17 in high school. So looking back now on the quality of the film compared to what that kind of thing, that whole phenomenon was growing up in it, is just super funny also. To think that somehow that kind of became the thing of pop culture for a good chunk of time when it was that poorly made is just a good laugh in its own right. So it's a 3. I think it's really a 2, but I'm going to be nice and give it a 2.5 actually, because I do get a good laugh out of it. It's not a laugh that the movie wants. It's not laughing with the movie. It's 100% laughing at it. But hey, I mean, it beats watching a 2 that doesn't make me laugh. So I'll give it the extra 0.5.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like that. Sandy, do you want to go?
I can respect that, Jay. So first, let me just give the book a rating. About 2 or 3 years ago, I started, dropping books if I didn't like them. I used to be so stubborn. If I started a book, I finished it. And then I realized life is too short to read bad books. And this would have been one that I would have dropped after the first chapter. It is, when I look at a book, and I do write little book reviews, I have a little book report book. And I grade each of the same criteria that we looked at when we learned to write book reports in 3rd grade. So starting with the writing of this book is absolutely atrocious. And I mentioned, overusing adverbs and adjectives, the horrible narrator, not the content of the narration, but just the horrible, horrible writing of the dialogue. Then I look at the characters. There are very few, and we talked about the handful of characters that we even care about a little bit, the dad being the one. But when you don't care about the main characters, it's very difficult to continue reading. And then the story. So there's the story, and then there's the telling of the story. I do think there is a story here. It's just told horribly. I do actually think there's an interesting story here. If you just look at the skeleton of the story, the idea of vampires in a small town, the idea of, opposing forces in tension with the vampires. That's an amazing idea. And it was fumbled. It was just handled so poorly. So I give the story itself a middle kind of grade, but the telling of the story an incredibly low grade. And I rated this book a 1 on the scale of 0 to 10. I didn't rate it a 0, but I give it a 1. The film, you're not going to believe this, but having read the book and then watched the film is so much better than the book. I actually,
wow,
I did not enjoy the
much.
film. I didn't enjoy the film, but I liked the film better than the book. In fact, I liked it twice as much as I liked the book, so I gave the film a 2. So the film gets a 2. There were so many parts of the film that I thought, oh, I'm glad they did it that way. You're not going to believe this either. Initially, in the first few minutes, I was so grateful for the acting of both Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson because the dialogue in the book is that much worse. It's worse than the acting on the screen in the film. That's how bad this book is. So I give the film a 2. I do not recommend the book, nor do I recommend the film, except, Jay, you may make me think, if you want a good laugh, perhaps.
Yeah.
But this is not a recommend for me. And James, you did a great job. This fit the category. This fit the category because it's now a film I hate and a book I detest. On to you, James.
Now I'm going to go through my score first because I think it's referenced that I there's only 2 movies I would ever consider, and this is a consider, that you are 10 out of 10. And there's probably only a couple of movies out there that would get 0, and one it would be was it Santa Claus Conquers the Martians? That movie is unwatchable. Apart from
sounds
that,
like it.
I think it's Portuguese dubbed like that. It's really bad. It's like on the, I think it's like late 50s. It's bad. It's bad. Anyway, if you want to try it, try it. Santa Claus. There's a couple of like versus the Martians and Santa Claus did something, and this one is. It's hard. It's really hard. Watch the trailer. Santa Claus conquers the Martians or conquers Mars. One of the 2. It's bad. It's bad. They're the ones where you're like, it's so bad, it's unwatchable. Where they tried to do something, they didn't have the budget. It's bad. But then you get the movies, and I think like me and Abe would agree like that. You know, I've said it, Zombie Beaver, where it's so low budget. They didn't then they just went, let's just be silly. It's a bad movie, but because it's bad, it goes up a scale. You can go, look, it's a 4, it's a 3. They just went, sod it. We're having that, but they're B movies. This is still a Hollywood production. This still is a strong
it's like a blockbuster.
The money, it's a money behind it. Like, what is it? What did you say?
A franchise.
30. Yeah, but you got 38 million or whatever it was a production cost. Where B movies, you know, you're gonna get like, you'll be lucky to get like a couple of million, aren't you? You're gonna have really like, you know, the actors you can get because they just, this might be the next big break. We've not had it. This one didn't have any actors really that were known, so all the actors were paid loads. So they probably just got the ones that went below that bracket. They got probably the 2 main characters because they just looked what the author thought they looked like. But the rest of it, I think the sentiments of both what you said, it misses everything. Like, there's no plot in this movie. The script is awful because they didn't change the dialogue. They didn't have the cinematography of anybody that actually cared. It's all static scenes. So is it a 0? No, it's not a 0. It's not a 0 because it's, as Jay says, you can laugh at it. And that's the good thing about this. If it's on, you're like, this is so bad. Why do people like it? And the bits that are on it is laughable. I'd probably give it the same as Jay. It is like a 2.5. It is like that. But the thing is, you hate it because you're like, oh, how would this, like, if there's movies out there that were given money, they were given that, but like that production value, and then you're like, look what you just wasted away. That could have been something good. If you took control, it could have been something good. But they've gone off the back of, we got the rights to a book, go, and then just like eased it into a bad writing to a bad story because the author thought they were J.K. Rowling. Now, J.K. Rowling's, I'm not going to say it, Harry Potter isn't the greatest written books. Like the first one she gets the development, at least she actually had the decency to say, this is what we need to do for the movies. Didn't take control, but gave advice. And she had that. And not, I don't need to handhold you. I'm not handhold you because I don't know how to do movies. But how she said it, like, oh, it's no, like first thing she said, like when we're going to set it in New York, it would have not worked. So like that kind of things, you know, like them little bits. But when somebody who is a screenwriter or, you know, like that, who says, we need to change the dialogue because people don't talk like that. And no, we must have them lines. We must have them lines. Adamant. It's bit naivety. It's bit like things. It doesn't make it for a classic movie. It's just one that has developed because of a great fan base, and I applaud. Everybody's got those movies that you go, I like it. This has got a core base of like, oh, you love this movie. And I went on to like, I just thought it'd be funny to actually go onto some forums and actually, you know, have a look, and they adore it. And I mean, adore it to, it's obsessive adoring, you know, kind of like that. It's a bit strange. Like you get now, you know, you get that quite a lot in like even sci-fi or like our franchise, like we like our Geekums, where people get over obsessed with it and will not say anything is bad, even when it is bad. And that is like, that's why, yeah, I just don't get that side to it. Is like, but I've never have, because probably I've not been over obsessed, even with like, you know, stuff behind me. I can see that movie was crap because of that, but I like it, you know, or like, you know, that because certain things are bad. But yeah, this whole, it's a bit creepy. It's a bit weird. It's something, yeah, I don't get, because I like when like the vampire, I like it how it's like it's a possessive religious demon more than anything. It's like, I like that aspect. It's like it's against like Christianity, let's say that, because that's what it mostly is, and you don't get much other religions that do vampirism. There's other twists to it, but like that is against God. It's against God. Where this one, they don't romanticize the aspect of being a vampire. They just make it normal, and that normality makes this this movie really boring. It just makes there's no threat to them. So that it dials it down. It just makes it a bit, oh, you know what? You just bored me with there's no romance. You bored me with like, there's no vampirism. Like the high school bit, it's not like your normal on screen American high school. You don't see the town, like it could be anywhere like that. The relationships like with the parents aren't there, and then yeah, you got the two main characters just flop out, boring. So yeah, hate it. Yeah, would be, yeah. I just despise it. It's just like, oh, go away. It's just like it's one that shouldn't be up there, but it's up there because of a really continued fan base. But yeah, it's 2.5 to a 2, and I'm being roving. It'd be a 2.2, maybe.
2.25. There you go.
2.25. There you go. But yeah, we lucky enough, we got a palate cleanser coming up soon, but not next week, because somebody, as what, Jay? Do you remember?
I do. I have a wedding to attend.
Are you sure?
And whose wedding
write it down.
Yep, I've got it in the calendar now.
Kind of an important family member getting married?
Well, now there's a couple tea times attached to the start of the day, so I definitely won't forget it now.
There
we go. So me and Sandy will come up with a plan. So we're looking for, is it still, 12th, Sandy, my plan. 19th is going to be the epic. Is that right? Have we got that right? Have I got that right?
That actually works for me, because that gives me a little bit more time to rewatch.
The 19th, people, is we're going to start earlier because it's going to be. we're going to do it by chapter. We're going to do it by chapters, not by breakdown. We're going to do it by chapters. Is the extended version, and I have to keep on saying this, extended version of Lord of the Rings. So Fellowship,
all of them,
Two Towers, and Return of the King. So do that. So make sure you do what is it, like 12 hours? Is it going to be?
It's a little more than 12 hours, and it's one story. So, and this was my pick, and I mean, I'm sure everyone would have put it on the wheel. I think I put it on the wheel, but I put it on as the trilogy, as one, because there are very few. I don't know. I can't think of any films, with sequels that is really one story. It's not these are not sequels. It's one story. So you have to watch all three, and the extended version.
Yeah.
What's that?
Wait, what do you mean? We just watched one of the greatest of all time, the beginning of Twilight, then New Dawn, or whatever the hell they're all called.
One wonderful story. But yeah, so please take the time to watch. If you have the time to read, I'm in the middle of the Two Towers, so the extra time gives me a little more time because I was interrupted by this dreadful piece of bleh.
You got 12. You got 12 days. 12 days will be. You did an audio.
I can't stop listening. It is.
Yeah.
It is poetry. I mean, hopefully many folks have, I would much rather be reading the books, but I can do this while I'm commuting to and from work. And Andy Serkis is the narrator. Fantastic.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
And it is like it's like listening to poetry. It's so well written. It's so easy to listen to. It's so descriptive. And Andy Serkis, does a great job with different voices too. Really, I mean, what can that man not do? I mean, he's a pioneer of special effects and motion capture, and an amazing audiobook reader. So, it's fantastic. So I highly recommend. If you can't do all three, just pick up the first one. It's so good, so well done. So what's for next? So we'll have to make a plan for next week, huh?
We'll have to make a plan, but from that we'll have to. I think it's to be the 26th. Is it that roughly that week of? So I don't think Jay's probably got an uncle getting married or something.
Yeah, who knows? Kind of just flying by the seat of my pants. Yes.
Like, damn it, I forgot.
Never know what I might have any given week.
Well, at least we know it's not going to be the World Series for you two.
No,
that's
not
that's below the belt.
But yes, so the wheel. All right, this time, Jay, you're actually here. You're here for the wheel.
Yes, got to make it.
Yeah, we go. Let's do this. Okay, so we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shuffles. So everybody knows I've just shuffled it, and let's do this. Please, a good one. Just like we've got good. We've got really good. It's an epic good. Let's have a good one.
No book though. I can skip a book. I've been reading like a maniac.
Oh,
so.
you know it's going to be. We haven't. What's
if it's any one of my choices, it's going to be the second Twilight, whatever the hell it's called.
The Rear Moon.
Yeah, whatever the hell they called it. Just that.
Oh my
God. One little gray here. You'll see many more of them. It will age me, I'm sure.
Okay, let's do this. Let's get on. Let's have it. Let's find out. Here we go, people. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, it's Sandy's. Oh no. Okay.
It is one of mine.
It is. I thought it's got Sandy's there. No, Seven Seal.
This is.
I do not know this one.
It is a relatively short film. I think it's an hour. It is the very first. Oh my God! Come on, Swedish actor. The big one. He was in one of the Star Wars recently, but he was a kid in this film. Anyway, it's an Ingmar Bergman film.
It's
Max von Sydow. Max von Sydow. It was on my list.
Hour 30. Yeah.
It was on my list of. You know what? We've done 3 of my fantasy films in a row because Highlander was on my fantasy list, Lord of the Rings, and The Seventh Seal was on my fantasy list because it's supernatural. So, Jay, it's in Swedish. Enjoy.
Yeah, I have no problem with foreign films, so that's fine.
I can understand Swedish. It'd be fine. No, yeah. No,
I'll need subtitles for sure.
You don't even need the dialogue. I watched it
really?
without subtitles. You can understand what's going on in the film without even, please do the subtitles, of course, but you don't need it.
It's black and white. It's a dark fantasy horror. Like that's the best collection would be. So it's a bit of like a, what's they call it?
Psychological drama?
Not really. No, it's not psychological.
I'm just reading the IMDb.
Oh, would they call it? Oh, okay.
Okay. I've never heard of this.
There you go.
It's very short. It's incredibly well done. It's simple. It's a very simple film about life and death.
Interesting.
Sandy, you've got some roles lately, except for a couple of me and Jay just popping in now and again. You've had a couple of good ones.
Well, I had Wedding Crashers in the middle too. So
Yeah. But yeah, so
cool.
I've not seen it. I must say I've not seen that for donkeys. I mean, what's it? That's got to be
1957.
Yeah, 1957. I see here.
Is it 57? I thought it was later than that. I thought it was like, maybe I'll sort of think. But yeah, so he's gone, isn't he? The main actor.
I think so.
Yeah, he died. He was in Minority Report, wasn't he?
Just recently.
It says March 8th, 2020.
What, this year?
2020.
No, 2020.
Oh, 2020. I thought
looks like I'm just reading off IMDb, so I don't know how correct it is. But
he's the good bad guy in Minority
Report. I didn't think of who was he in Star Wars?
So he was the guy in the desert. This is terrible. Let me find the name of the film because I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, he's in Force Awakens at the beginning.
Force Awakens. He's
I
Tekka.
He's got
the
I don't recognize
thing in the it's where they go in the desert. The first.
It's like the terrible wasted actor. Yeah.
Oh God, I think I have just blocked out that entire movie at this point.
Yeah, he's also the three-eyed raven in Game of Thrones,
and he's also in Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
He has an unbelievable resume here. I mean, he's just
he's a good actor. He was a good actor,
and he worked for 60 some years. He worked for 60 years.
Wow.
No.
His first film he was a kid in 1949. He did Seven Seal in 1957. And then just what an amazing, I hope he's won some those honorary awards. He was in one of those early biblical movies, The Greatest Story Ever Told, he was Jesus. So he and Charles Dance have been Jesus, which is a good thing. He was in a lot of Swedish films. Oh, he's Father Merrin in The Exorcist. He's the old priest.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
In The Exorcist. He's just, and he was in The Exorcist 2. We don't pretend that one.
Apparently, he also lent his voice to Ghostbusters 2 for
being the Merciless in Flash Gordon. He's being the Merciless. He's in Victory. He's the German major in Victory, which you guys call Escape to Victory. He's in Conan. He's the king in Conan.
Oh, yes, he is, yeah.
He is. He's in James Bond films. He's in Never Say Never Again. He's Blofeld. He's Blofeld. Okay. This guy is everywhere. He's in Dune, the original 1984 Dune.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So, I mean, and I could keep going.
And Rush Hour 3.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was scrolling. Interesting. Rush Hour 3, huh?
Ghostbusters 2. He's just, he's everywhere. And good on him. What an unbelievable career. Needful Things. That's Stephen King. That was a Stephen King short story. There's Dread. Wow. So just an absolutely remarkable landmark career.
It takes us more. It's still another. We have fantasy, but this is a very different fantasy.
Yeah, I kind of went with like, because it's not, I didn't think it was horror. I thought it was more supernaturally. So it was hard to put it in a category. But I knew, like, if I were to write down my top 10 films of all time, this would be on it. So I wanted to make sure it was in a category. It'd be like number 8, number 9, somewhere around there.
Interesting.
Just because I think it tells a good story in a very simple and effective way. And the acting, another reason I gave it bonus points is because you don't need to know Swedish. I think the expressions of the actors tell the story.
So you're saying we've got, well, now 4 movies in a row, really, with some acting. Thank God.
Thankfully, we've got some acting coming.
We have some acting. That is great.
Yeah.
Was in Judge Dredd, yes, he was, Daryl. Anyway, great. Now I've got to work, so I'm probably gonna have to run. But guys, except for Sandy's now our new YouTuber of extraordinary. So she had, how many did you have in your chat today, Sandy?
I had 140 some in chat. I had 15,000 views on my live stream today. So it hasn't uploaded yet, but it was a lot of fun. I was in Chinatown in Washington, D.C. and just had so many people enjoying the walking tour. And I'm always amazed that people join me for my little walking tours. And I kept trying to end the stream, when you try to end the stream, but you've got 140 people in chat and you don't want to let them go. So, but then when I stopped it literally like 15,700 views. How in the world? It's my biggest stream by, tenfold. So
that's awesome.
A sunny day in Chinatown certainly drew the crowds today. But back to work tomorrow after a nice holiday weekend.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be a roughin' tomorrow. Yeah, I am looking forward to getting back into reading The Lord of the Rings. It's so wonderful. So what are you both up to?
Well, I'm gonna say something to Jay here. So, Jay, you're Peter Parker.
I know, and I'm due for a reappearance.
He wanted to watch you play Spider-Man, so we watched it. Has anybody seen Bluey? You seen Bluey?
I know of it.
You know a Bluey. There's a word. Right? There's a word that the dad says when he swears. It's biscuits. Instead of swearing, it says biscuits. So Jay got very excited, and he got killed quite easily. And he swore. And he looked at me. It was like, "Oh shit!" You went. You cut. It was really funny. And I was like, funny. It was like the kid was like, looked at me, and I was like, "Oh," because you emphasized, like you went straight into it. It was so funny. And my kid was like, what was that?
That's known to happen.
I went. He got very angry. He was like, did he mean to say biscuits? And I went, yes, he did.
Exactly.
Yes, he did. So yeah, it was
That's funny.
He meant to say biscuits. Yes, he did. Yeah. So that was it. So he knows it, but he won't repeat it. So that was quite
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
Any more, Jay? I've seen you had a video, and we all.
Yeah, I've been getting a little bit more active on the channel. Starting to find some time. A lot of shorts, which have been doing really well, which is great. And did a game review, probably a little about close to 2 weeks ago. I'm working on a few other ones. I've got a bunch of ideas flying around, and I got to start getting them kind of out of the head onto paper or screen, so to speak. So going to start working on those. Definitely a Superman review this week, or next week rather. And then little time off for my brother's wedding next weekend, and then hopefully some windows for some streaming after that.
I wanted to ask, so I did not, nor will I go to see Jurassic Park this weekend. There's one Jurassic Park film for me. I am going to go see Superman. Are you both going to see it? Jay, I know you're going to see it.
Yep.
James, what do you think?
I think I should.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to do it. I think I've been looking forward to it, and I'm hopeful. And I'm
not looking for. I think I've said it. I'm more intrigued. What is it going to be like that?
I get that. I'm still on the looking forward to it side. I will say, the more I see, the more I'm like,
they released another one, didn't they? And I was like, oh,
and none of them have I really been like, oh, this looks awful. But none of it's made me more encouraged of like, is this really going to work? But we'll see. I saw it the best.
I saw Nicholas Hoult was like did an interview, and you know when it's like I'm reading from a script because I can't give anything like a true response to it, and it was like, oh, that's a bit disheartening because you're not saying you're just giving that.
I mean,
normal Hollywood
in fairness, though, we have been saying for years Hollywood actors should start going back to just reading the script at those press conference things, just to not put their foot in their mouth one way or the other. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Nicholas Hoult and his I get it, it's got the right to say whatever it wants, the whole deal, but this is all a job at the end of the day. And when you're in the job, you got to do the professional speak and things like that. So if that's the case, it's probably slightly better scenario, kind of the scenario we've been asking for the actors to go back to, which is just sit there, promote the movie, say good things about it, and let us make our decision versus whatever else.
Yeah, true that. For myself, I haven't got. It's whatever happens really. I don't know what games I'm going to be playing. I've got so many now, all over the place. So it's just when I can jump in, I can jump in. So yeah, it's flexible with work as normal. But yeah, other things. I just need to grind it, but yeah, and especially now I'm going to have to do more early schedules to get you guys to do the leaderboards. So that's it. But
get it.
So quick fun fact before we sign off here. I happen to just be scrolling through IMDb because why not? As we were just looking up the filmography there. And I scrolled down to the birthday section, and today is Ava Green's birthday, coincidentally. So,
ding, ding, ding for the Ava
There you go. What a coincidence.
There we go. But we can't leave without congratulating Abel. He put the XPs in. So 1,200 as number one, Sandy. Number two, disgraceful. How Abe got 3, I don't know. God. And then Daryl overtook Viper into 4th.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. So he went down to 5. But everybody, this is a little bit of fun. I don't mind the leaderboard. It's a little bit of fun for everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. But I hope you enjoyed our chat. That is it. Our kind of breakdown review of Twilight. Possibly if you did your homework, I do apologize, but that was the will, and that's what it was. But yeah, hope you had a great one. I hope everybody's safe. Everybody's had a great weekend, especially some stupid celebration.
Yeah, America celebrating the greatest holiday of all time. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend here.
You'll be back. But everybody have a great one.
Look at Viper in the chat. He's starting 98.
He'll
go all the way down to 1.
There you go.
We'll sign off. Just leave the stream running.
No. Yeah, I did that. I was like, do not dare. Like that. He would. I bet you on the next schedule there will be 99 bottles of beer in the wall. There we go. Good on Viper. Oh my God, there you go. 98 twice.
Even with the double line too. Wow, yeah, he'll be here all day.
Everybody have a great one before we get. I should just end it before Viper gets to number 1. Otherwise, we will be here for a while. Everybody have a great rest of the Sunday, whatever you got left of it, and then have a great rest of the week. And we'll see you. Well, Jay's off. Me and Sandy, we have to talk about it, what we're doing. Otherwise, start watching one of the greatest fantasies of all time, Lord of the Rings. Until then, have a great one. Bye for now.